Sacred Symbols, a PlayStation podcast, is brought to you by, well, you. If you want to learn how to support our show, go to patreon.com/laststandmedia. Greetings and salutations. Welcome back to Sacred Symbols, a PlayStation podcast. This is episode number 420. My name is Colin Moriarty. I'm joined as always by my son, Chris Reagan. Chris, we're the red shirt boys today.
Yeah.
How are you?
I'm doing good. It's 420, so I did think about it. I did think about, maybe I wake up, maybe I pop something.
Yeah, and?
But I was like, no. I don't know about this.
Probably for the best.
I don't know about this, brother.
I was going to, I don't really smoke bongs or bowls anymore, but I was going to take a bong rip or something on the show, but I think that's maybe against YouTube's policies or something, so.
Potentially.
It's legal where I am. It's legal where you are. Not even
right.
medicinally, just legal. But I don't want to get in trouble.
Yeah,
ruin the business. Although I guess you could say I'm smoking tobacco.
Yeah, that'll solve everything.
No, but it's kind of nonsensical, right? I mean, everyone knows that's not in fact true. Well, it's good to see you today, Chris. How's life? What's going on in your life?
It's very, very normal, very standard. I found I've been picking up some more retro stuff. I've gotten into a little bit of a glut of collecting older games. I just finally got my hands on Spider-Man 2, the original.
Cool.
And Wet.
You remember Wet? The Bethesda published stylish third-person action shooter.
Yeah, just these weird games that I feel like these are probably stuck in the past.
Yeah, Wet kind of came and went. Like, it was funny. That game had really cool box art and it was like a little sexualized and stuff, but it didn't. No one really see. That was during a weird period of Bethesda as well. Yeah,
it was. I don't even remember I don't really remember much about it. It's kind of like Remember Me. It was like one of those where I was like, I don't know if I know I played some of it. Like, I don't know if there was a demo or something. But I know there was a Wet demo, I think. And I played that, and I just never, I think around that time, you're in high school, you don't have a lot of money. You got to be really deliberate with your game purchases.
I forgot it was made by Behavior, the guys that do Dead by Daylight.
Interesting.
Naughty Bear and all that kind of stuff. Yeah. Interesting times.
Interesting. But yeah.
I remember going to a Bethesda event, and that being that's the only reason I even remember that Bethesda published it. Yeah, the box art, I'm looking at it now. Yeah, it's cool.
It's good box art. But
a PlayStation Portable version was planned, but ultimately canceled. So it's interesting.
That's a common story.
Indeed. Cool. How much? I wonder how much some of these random games. I feel like everything's probably going to be worth something. At some point.
Nothing I paid for was too expensive. Spider-Man 2 was the most expensive, which is interesting because I figured that would have been I feel like there's millions of copies of that are probably out, but. That ran me about 30. Wet was significantly less, which is crazy because I feel like Wet is way more rare, but whatever. I'll take it.
I'm reading the Wikipedia page. I didn't know any of this. Originally set to be published by Sierra, Bethesda Softworks eventually announced that they would become Wet's publisher. And then it sold 1 million copies. And a sequel to the game was announced I don't remember that at all, but it was canceled. So Wet 2.
Wet sold 1 million copies.
That's what I'm saying. It was different then, man.
What a different time. That is actually amazing if you think about it from just a historical lens. That's possible. Because that would not... Dude, that's great. Wet sold 1 million copies, and what is Saros at?
It's you know what I mean? It's probably about 500,000 now, I would assume.
It's probably closer to 1 million now, but that's so crazy. I would have never thought that those were the sales figures for Wet.
I miss those days of just people, because there were so few games comparable to today, and you were buying, at that point you can buy digital games, but everything was available physically, basically of any consequence. People were just, the consumer habits were just different. I say it over and over again about just these games that come out. I felt that way recently about Luna Abyss, which was a good shooter, and I'm like, this game would have been huge if anyone knew it existed. And of course I say Lovish over and over and over again, which would have been one of the great. It would have been alongside Shadow Complex and Mark of the Ninja and all that kind of stuff, and it just sold 1 million fucking copies too. So it's a shame.
So much. There's just no oxygen. There's no oxygen in the room.
But one time there was enough oxygen for wet.
Yeah.
From Behavior Interactive. Artificial Mind and Behavior and Mind, whatever that used to be called. I forget. Anyway, it's good to be here with you today, Chris. And we're here for episode 420 on July 16th. We're recording it. So it's not 420 when we're recording it, but we're still Dustinless. I don't know when we're going to see him back again. It's been about a month, right? I mean, a little more than that, maybe. I don't know. I have no idea. But he'll be back whenever he wants, and we look forward to having him back in the fold. But this is Sacred Symbols, a PlayStation podcast, and we're glad to be here with you. We go live each and every week, and you can get it 3 days early and ad free over on Patreon, patreon.com/laststandmedia. The perks over there are many, and they transcend all of the shows in our network, including Defining Duke, our Xbox podcast, and Summon Sign, our gameplay podcast, and Punching Up, our Nintendo podcast, and so on and so forth. So we appreciate your support very much over there. $5 a month is the sweet spot. That's where most people are. And that gets you early ad-free access to all the shows, the ability to submit your inquiries to the various shows in the threads in the news feed. Ad-free, of course, for everything. Discord access if you'd like that. RSS and Spotify links if you don't want to use Patreon, and just send the ad-free stuff to your podcast service of choice. And like I said, Sacred Symbols Plus, a major part of our Patreon offering. This is our weekly supplement, exclusive to Patreon for the show, deep dives, interviews, and so on. I conducted it. I won't even say who it is. I don't think, maybe a lot of people wouldn't know who it is, but I think a lot of people would. Good interview that I conducted that will be going on Saturday. I won't even tease it. I think you'll enjoy that very much. But we recently had Moore's Law is Dead on to talk about PS6. Chris did a deep dive into the end of Destiny and Bungie's tumultuous future. I had Reese Elliott on recently from Alinea Analytics to talk numbers. We deep dove into Pragmata and so on and so forth. So please look forward to more. And Sacred streaming Mondays at 1 p.m. Eastern time. Neo JD wrote a note on Patreon, just like you can, and said, Colin, when are you getting to that Star Wars power washing? So the Star Wars power wash stuff is out, and I forgot about that. Maybe that will be Monday's stream, because I had written in the notes here, maybe I'll go back and just play chess and something and do something a little more low key, but Star Wars power washing sounds good. A job's a job. I'm not going to ask any questions, and we'll see what comes of it. So looking forward to that very much. Please join us on Sacred streaming if you can. And merch at laststandmedia.store. Noah Edmonds wrote in and said, hey, Sacred Sluggers, any updates on the Allegheny Hogs? I'd like to rep them at my local ballpark before the minor league season ends in 2 months. I'll hang up and keep choking up on that bat. Got to choke up on the bat sometimes. No, do you remember choking up on a bat and how you kind of felt ashamed of it? It's like, oh, like the coach would come and be like, choke, like get, and I'm like, no, I want to hold like a normal person. But you were like too small. And so you felt kind of like a bitch when you were choking up on the bat. But there are even a few MLB players that I think that they don't choke up much, but a little bit. Like an inch or so. You know, you want to get a little good leverage on the bat, on the wood.
Yeah. I don't remember that terminology even, choking up on the bat. Like I did play baseball or Little League for quite a while. But I don't remember that being a problem. I was pretty good at baseball, actually. My issue was throwing. Like I couldn't throw very far, but I could hit pretty well, and
that's not gonna do.
And I could run, and I could hit pretty well. So like I was a good hitter, but like it was, they could not have me in like outfield or something. Not a good place for me.
Yeah, it's funny. Right field is usually the place you stash your worst player.
Yeah, that was probably
just because lefties, like I'm a lefty, but lefties hit. You can hit anywhere. But lefties typically pull the ball to the right field, and since there are so few lefties comparable to righty batters, or at least when you're a kid, it's a good mix in the MLB. You know, you put Dagan always talked about that, about how he was put there, so that like that's like always the picture of the guy like picking daisies in the field and shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was a similar when I played Little League. I always remember this, and I remember being aware of this at the time. And I might have brought this up as like, and people used to get annoyed by it, but it's like, I remember pitching being so bad when you were a kid. And I remember being cognizant of this, that like, it's like, you could walk every at bat if you just don't swing. And so I would never, no one swings at the first pitch, but then I would maybe go up 2-0, and then maybe I would take like a little swing, and it would be 2-1. And then I would just be ball 4-1, just go to first, and then just steal. Yeah. Right. And then, so like there was I think by the time you're like 10 or 11, it's probably a little harder if I recall, but like you could just steal any base. Not home, but like you could steal second, you could steal third. So like once you're on base, you're gonna score if anyone makes contact with the ball. I remember that so clearly and being aware of that even as a kid.
Yeah.
Just get on base.
Once everybody ages up to the point where they can actually throw well, like I don't think I was there until 10. I think I stopped at like 8 or something like that. Maybe if that. That even seems a little bit late. But yeah, the second you get into that point where you're actually throwing, and they're like, you could break your fucking face. That's where it gets a little bit different.
Well, it's so funny, like in the MLB and in college, and I guess higher level high school. I didn't play high school baseball, not even close, but leading off of a bag is also funny because it's like they're never going to get you. And then in the MLB, it's so funny. Like a dude will be 3 feet off the bag and the pitcher will get him out. And it's it goes to show you like the different, obviously the different skill level, but you could lead halfway to second when you're like 8 years old and that kid ain't doing shit. And by the way, if he tries to pick you off, you just run the second.
Exactly. Yeah.
And I just remember being a kid and be like, the strategy, I didn't articulate it like this, but in my mind, I'm like, the strategy is so broken down because no one can play the game properly. Oh, I loved it. It was so fun. I love baseball. It's a great game. Yeah. The MLB is broken as hell, but baseball's a great game. There will be no Major League Baseball next year, it seems like. I don't know if you've been paying attention to that.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because there's a new, the CBA, the collective bargaining agreement's up. And
interesting.
The baseball is the only professional league in the United States with no salary cap. So teams spend whatever they want, which is ridiculous. And there's no floor either. The other 3 major sports, football, hockey, and basketball, all have a salary cap and a salary floor, meaning you have to spend a certain amount of money. You can't spend over a certain amount of money. And then there's luxury taxes and all the rest. Baseball just lets I think there are teams that spend well under $100 million and teams that spend like $500 million. And so baseball's, so the league is like, we want a salary cap. And the players are like, we don't want a salary cap. And so I think it's conventional wisdom. There will be no baseball next year because the teams will lock the players out until they agree. And they should, because it's ridiculous. I don't know if you see some of these baseball contracts. I'm like, this is ridiculous.
Oh,
this is a ridiculous contract. This is a ridiculous contract. It's like, or what they did to Shohei Ohtani on the Dodgers, where like they're paying him like $2 million a year or something like that. And then at the end, they pay him like $250 million or something. It's like something I'm like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
Cool. That's fun. That's competitive. That's competitive.
Sports salaries are always crazy to me. Like, I always felt that they should be paid a lot, but like some of the degrees that I've seen, it's like, this is a bit egregious. Like, they're running around.
Yeah, it's a game. I mean, a little bit. So much money wrapped up in it. I understand. I don't have a problem with the money personally, like on a per capita basis. I just think that the edge cases are like an average NFL. I think once you were in the NFL for like a few years, the minimum salary is $1 million. And that's awesome. Right. But then there are guys that's like, I make 70 million. And I'm like, 70 million? You play 16 games a year. You might even be hurt for half of them. But whatever, to each their own. Go get your money. Yeah. What do I give a fuck, really? I don't care at all. I'm just pretending I care so we have something to talk about on this show.
Exactly.
So he asked about Allegheny Alex. I don't know how I got it totally. He talked about choking up on a bat. That was a 10-minute diatribe.
Yeah, sorry.
About Little League Baseball.
Sorry, bud.
Noah, Allegheny Hogs. So I'm still waiting to hear back from the lawyers. It's hard to know. In the post-COVID era, things with the government take way longer. It used to be way worse. When we trademarked, what was it? It was Summonstein, I think. We trademarked one of the shows right after COVID, and it took over a year, that's
kind of crazy.
It's insane. It's completely ridiculous. Oh, thank you. Appreciate it. I'm gonna interrupt this one more time. So no, we'll get to your question in the third part of answering your question.
What is that?
I had Micah bring this up for me. This is an amazing invention that I had never heard of in my entire life. It's by a company called Burer. I guess they're German. She was saying Beurer. It's a thing you put on a mosquito bite, and it burns like hell, and then it makes it so the mosquito bite doesn't itch anymore.
What?
Yeah. So you press this button. you put this little pad on the mosquito bite, you press this button, and then it heats up to 120 degrees. So not that crazy, but it hurts. Yeah. And you leave it there for a few seconds, and then it beeps and it's done, and then the mosquito bite doesn't itch. And it really works. It really does.
Huh.
And I have a mosquito bite on my leg, so I texted her. I'm like, "Can you bring me that thing?" And she did. I had never heard it. It sounds incredible. And I was like, "So how does it work?" And she told me, basically the entire idea is it just overrides the sensors, like your nerves in that area by burning them. It doesn't hurt. It's not a permanent thing. It overrides them, so it doesn't know like what it's do. Like it doesn't know what to feel. Like there's you wouldn't even notice. It doesn't burn you like that. It's not like a cigarette burn. It's like if you put a cigarette burn on your mosquito bite, it probably also would. It would also work, yeah. Right? But it's like a remarkable thing. I'm like, it was one of those things, like one of those things that someone tells you, and I'm like, that's fucking nonsense. And then you use it, I'm like, holy shit, it really does work. Like you just put it on a mosquito bite. I'm like, it's crazy. It's really a wonderful thing.
That seems mega difficult to believe, but I feel like not mega difficult. I shouldn't say it's not fucking black magic, but that seems like a myth. You know what I mean? Like the idea that you say, oh, just take the pain in a certain place and replace it with a different pain, and then that other pain goes away. It's just like I feel like that there's like part of that makes sense, but also like part of it that feels too like whimsical to be true.
It's really interesting, isn't it? I wonder if anyone else out there has tried this thing. It's just one of the, I was like, wow.
I don't get bitten by mosquitoes enough.
Imagine giving this to Lewis and Clark when they were going west. They're probably getting badgered by bugs, and you're like, well, this will help you out. Now when it's done, it makes a little high pitched beep, and it freaks my specifically treble out. So I have to use it. Like I have to like go in the bathroom and like put on the fan. Use it. Anyway, all right, Noah, part 3. So I don't know if it's like we're stuck in this like fucking. It could be that we're being challenged, and this is exactly what I was afraid of. Although I think the name will be fine as far as I understand. So I'm staying optimistic. I haven't talked to the lawyers. I'm afraid to kind of talk to my lawyers sometimes because I don't want to get charged. It's like here's an eighth of an hour. They don't do that kind of shit. I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
So be patient. But in the meantime, laststandmedia.store for shirts, sweatshirts, t-shirts, etc., hats, stickers. We appreciate you. Copies of Herbroxia. I think we just shipped like 3 of them randomly yesterday, which is funny. And for Saint Slayer, since physical games are all the rage, Saint Slayer order is ongoing. We had to wait until July 20th, which is a few days from now, to submit our ESRB rating for the ESRB discount. I've explained this a million times. So we've gotten everything in the motion so that when the 20th comes, everything's just submitted. So East Asia Soft's on the case. And I assume we'll have to see how it goes, but I assume we will be selling these in the fall. So keep an eye out. And Dagan's hard at work on the box art and the instruction manual and the whole setup. We have a nice little thing going on. I think people are going to very much enjoy it. So thank you for your patience on that as well. And for your support of Saint Slayer, of course. Proud of that game. All right, Chris, let's get into some of these inquiries from the audience to stretch our legs, and then we'll get into the news. Quite a bit of things, I was going to say, which really isn't proper English. Nate Christian wrote in and said, howdy C and maybe Daddy D. Not yet. Just wanted to stop in and say happy 420 milestone to you boys and everyone. Whether you partake occasionally, habitually, or never at all, may the little things like the silly weed number bring us happiness as we navigate through these wild times we're living in now. I'll shut up and go smoke a J while I listen to my favorite podcast. Peace, boys. Thank you, Nate. Lots of you wrote in about 420 and wishing us a happy 420. We appreciate that. And of course, it's July, so it's not the real 420. It is episode 420. Still a time of great celebration. Weed, man, it's a funny thing. Like, I was introduced to it probably more than 25 years ago. And I didn't really get into it until college. I think it's one of those things for a lot of people that's at a razor's edge where it could really disable and like demotivate and it does to, like, everyone knows burnouts, right?
Yeah.
I remember getting Green Day's Dookie, that record, when I was 10. I loved it. I was obsessed with it. I had the cassette tape. Actually, it was blue. People might remember that, which was really cool. And the first song, it's Burnout. And I remember learning what that was. In fact, I think the first line of the first song is "I declare I don't care no more."
Yeah, it
and
is.
I love that song. I always thought
Great.
that would be a cool song for them to open with, but they would never do something that cool. "A Many a Sleepus" is the other song on that record that I think would be a cool opener as well, that they would never do. So I've always tried, as I'm my whole adult life basically been smoking pot, and I know a lot of people like me that do it, right? Like people that like most of my closest friends we all bonded over pot kind of when we were like younger. And they still all are like, he's a lawyer, he's an artist, he's a whatever. And everyone just kind of does their thing. And then but then I also know people from back home, especially on the island, where it's like, man, you're doing the same thing. Like we used to play cards in your backyard and smoke weed and blunts or whatever 25 years ago, or like 20 years ago or whatever it was. And you're still doing it. I say that because I feel like it's a drug that's both misunderstood and perfectly understood. And it really is about the person that does it.
Yeah.
So enjoy out there, but also be careful. My whole thing, and I think this is what it was for me, Chris. I'm a little more relaxed now in my older age, but it was always the award. And I saw someone articulate this recently, which I was like, oh, someone else thinks about it as well. It's like, it's the thing you look forward to decompressing with. People always like, oh, I'm going to have a couple beers and sit on the couch after work, right? It's like, that's cool. I don't mind you doing that. But it was the same thing. And I remember that when I was in college, especially, and when I was at IGN and all the rest, because I wasn't smoking at 8 a.m. and going to work. It's like, no, you like go to work and you do your thing and you go grocery shopping and you work out and you do all that. And then you get home and you smoke a joint and you look forward to it. And it's like a nice relaxation. And my body feels that level of relaxation. I look forward to those moments. It's really more about the ritual, I think.
Yeah.
To the point where I was thinking about it, where it's like, it would be cool if there was just weed that was just this neutral, or like this weed supplement that was like this neutral thing that you just smoked just to smoke. You know?
Right.
Because like it maintains a certain level for me, like of calmness, which I appreciate, but people get stoned. Like I don't get stoned. Like I don't,
well,
you know, like,
isn't it like a lot stronger now though? Isn't that like there's a consensus where it's just like the weed from like the 70s that people were talking about is not anywhere near the potency or the well, I don't even know if that's the right word.
No, that's the perfect word.
But yeah, of the stuff that we have today, and most things like edibles and stuff like that are crazy. Like, it's a very different. Even if you are into weed, it's a very different weed now than it was, as I understand from people.
No, it's true. It's true, and it's funny. It's funny. I get it from a dispensary, and I look for the cheapest weed that is the lowest potency. That's hybrid, specifically,
right?
Because sativa, I like sativa a lot, but sativa kind of drives you a little crazy. I think
isn't that the one that's
everyone knows that. And I'm not talking about salvia, by the way. That's a whole different thing. Sativa is a strand, like a whole, is a whole angle, a smaller angle than indica of weed strands. And then indica is like sleepy time weed. Hybrid is like the middle, and that's what I like. But like sativa is the shit people smoke. They get really paranoid. If you smoke and get really paranoid, it's probably because you're smoking sativa. Sativa is daytime weed. It's a good weed for like a concert, or if like you're dicking around in the park with your friends playing ball or something or whatever, So I don't know. I bring all this up because I'm like it's a habit, and it there is something addictive about the process. Though I think we all understand it's not physically addictive. There are repercussions for stopping to take it. It's more like you have vivid dreams and shit like that. And I've been in those situations many times, but I just wanted to throw that out there because I feel like people need to be responsible with it, but also don't necessarily overjudge it either. Like anything else, I think it plays a role. I think you have to choose I'm of the mind that you have to have pleasures in life, but you have to pick and choose, and that's why I've always been really cognizant of not really always, but more in my older years about like, I gotta watch my drinking. Because like you can't do everything. And also that's way worse for you and everyone else than than
Yeah,
smoking.
yeah. Objectively, I didn't start doing anything with weed until I was like literally 21 or something. Like I was like really late to it. Like I knew kids who did it in my high school or whatever, but I just didn't care. Like I remember like when I was in high school, it was like a big like stoner comedy kind of time. It was like big like Pineapple Express, these types of things. It was kind of everywhere. And I didn't watch any of them. I had no. Dude, did I ever tell you this about like how I had like 7 pot brownies?
No, but that's bad. I mean,
Dude, so I went. So it was like one of my first weeks in LA, and I was there was like some party that like a mutual friend of ours. I was like, okay, I'm new to the area. Let me like go and like see if I can meet people or whatever. See what the vibe is like. I remember the exact apartment. I remember the exact street. I remember everything about that day, except for like later on. But we were at this party. It was kind of like a potluck. People brought their own stuff. I can't remember what I brought. I think I brought like wings or something. And so we're all eating. Like there's like some. I think like the finale of a show was on, so people were watching. I didn't really care about that. But I was eating these brownies and I was like, oh, these taste really weird. And they like tasted leafy. And I was like, oh, man. And I thought like, oh, maybe it's LA. Like maybe it's like a vegan.
Right.
It's like a vegan brownie or something. It's like, okay, cool. And so I just had a bunch of them because I was like, these are really good. And somebody was like, how many of those have you had? I was like, I had 5. And I was about to eat 2 more. And I was like, those are like weed brownies. And I said specifically, I was like, well, I don't feel anything. So it's fine. And I had 2 more. And then by the end of the night, I was completely fucked. It was so bad.
Yeah,
it was hilarious though. I was laughing so hard. That might be still to this day the hardest I think I've ever laughed because I was so ungodly high.
It's so funny that that's like a fairly common experience for people. Is like people
accidentally
like it's like not understanding that the brownies are weed brownies, right? Like that's a fairly, unfortunately for people, a fairly common thing that you hear from, and it's like, holy shit. Because I had the same thing. Well, it's not that I didn't know, I just didn't calibrate anything.
You didn't, right, the potency or whatever.
Which is which is bad.
Dude,
I'm sure. Yeah, go ahead, please.
The thing for me was that like I straight up for real just didn't know you could cook it into things.
Oh, yeah.
Like I just thought it was like you smoked it. Like I was familiar with enough of it to know that like, okay, it's like a bong or like a joint or like whatever. Like I understand these things, but I didn't care enough about it to look into it. I had no idea that you could just eat it or that it could just be cooked into food. It's insane. That's like, I mean, I knew that with alcohol. Like I knew like there was always that like the alcohol soaked like gummy worms or whatever and stuff like that at like parties, which were awesome. But it just didn't compute to me that was possible. And so like, even when I knew that they were weed brownies, I was like, well, surely it can't be that strong if it's cooked. Like I just assumed like, oh, if you cooked it, it diluted it or something. Like I was making all of these rationalizations that you have when you don't fully understand the thing. And you're just kind of like in the moment, you just kind of have to act on the fly. I was like, I already had 5 of these. I'm still hungry. I know now why I was still hungry, but
I found a pic. I was looking for it. There's a picture of me. So the same thing happened to me, but there's a picture of it. I put it on Discord. This picture's from. I went on Facebook to find it. It's dated November 2005. And this was me on my 21st birthday after in the bathroom, passed out against the.
Oh wow!
And
you're greened out right there.
Yeah, it's funny how low res and mid aughts it is, the picture. But it's me passed out in a bathroom, like against a door.
That's so
I
funny.
actually have a mohawk at that point, but you can't see it really. Yeah, I ate way too many weed brownies. That was my 21st birthday at a party.
That's so funny.
And that's my ex-girlfriend's apartment. So I later after that threw up in the back of a cab I think I've told this story, into a sweatshirt, so it didn't get anywhere. The cab driver was super cool. That's one of the things I really remember. I was wedged in the middle of my girlfriend at the time and Mike Pope, my best friend from home, from Long Island, I'm going to his wedding later this year. And I just threw up into this sweatshirt. And then I think I said I threw the sweatshirt on my girlfriend at the time's fire escape. and then we never touched it again. And when she moved out, it was still just sitting there.
That's
it was
crazy.
It was an Element skateboarding sweatshirt, like this brown Element sweatshirt. And I just
left a vomit shirt sweatshirt like on a like in the sun on a
fire escape. Yeah, like we just threw it out there because it stunk. So like we just threw it out there and then we never. And this was in the winter.
So
this was in the winter.
crazy.
It was October, I guess it would have been. So
Oh, okay. Well,
yeah, so
that's still insane. But
yeah, it was gross. I'll never forget that as long as I live. And yeah, there's a picture of it. So there you go.
was that like a favorite shirt of yours?
It would, yeah. I was poor, so I remember that being a bummer. Is like, this is a sweatshirt, like,
but it's one that you liked, right?
Yeah,
you know
I liked it.
Like,
Yeah.
It's always that shirt.
Yeah,
it's always a shirt like that you throw up into and ruin. Like I had one that was like a, because you're always wearing like presentable stuff to things that you end up doing these things at, and then you end up ruining stuff. Like I had like one of my favorite shirts. It was like a white shirt with like just New York written on it, but it was like 3D lettering. It was like really cool, and I loved it. It was in a trash can in I think on Santa Monica Pier by the end of that day.
It's too bad, man.
Such a bummer.
Yeah, it is. It is a bummer. Let's see. Hold on a second. I got a text message from Micah. Says 20 years later you would do that again, but your wife saved the sweatshirt. True love. That's true.
Oh.
That is a good point.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it's funny because what I remember is like the moment where I was like, I either have to throw up into this sweatshirt or I'm throwing up in this cab.
Yeah.
And you just have to do it. You know, like I remember the cab driver. He was so like, dude, you've been in a million cabs. I have too. This is like a 1 in a million. He pulled over and got a trash bag out of his back of his trunk and gave it to me. And he like wasn't a dick at all. Now I don't really remember. I have to ask Mike if he remembers this very well or not. But
that's crazy.
Because I like 9 out of 10 times they would have been like, get the fuck out of the cab.
Yeah, they would have shot you.
Yeah, I mean
they would have shot you 16 times like Curtis Sliwa.
All right, where are we here? So yeah, happy episode 420. Be safe out there. Be well, and choose your poison. That's my advice in life. Choose your poison.
Yeah,
I'm not one. You don't have to withhold yourself of all of life's pleasures. I just think you need to choose them. That's all.
Right.
Live your life. William Jackson wrote in and said, hey guys, really enjoying this Mr. Moriarty Goes to Washington story arc we're currently living within. If there's one man who the gaming battalion can entrust to bring reason, dignity, and intellect to the boomers in Congress, it's probably not Colin, but he's clearly the hero we deserve. Like the Knicks brought the city of New York together, let this be the moment that finally brings the gaming community together. We clearly need oversight into this all-digital future that ensures protections for consumers when it's clear that Sony and Microsoft are lazy and indifferent. Keep up the fight and happy 420. Thank you for writing in about that as well. I wrote on Twitter, and it got picked up quite a bit by some people, that I wrote a letter to my congressman for the very first time. I actually have, it was a web form. I actually have a picture of it here. And it was just a letter about what's going on with the games industry, specifically with digital ownership. And now the reason I researched, I'm like, how do I contact my congressman? It's not very complicated. They promise, Chris, that if you select a little box when you're submitting it, that like you could say like, I want a response. That's what it says. And they promise to respond to everyone. And so I want to see, I live in the first Virginia, the district of Virginia, the first district. So we have this Republican, but I was telling Mike, I'm like, we live in Virginia's very purple and our district is pretty purple too. So I was like, I hope this works. Like, what if this guy gets voted out? And then now I have to go and like do this all over again. But it is my earnest hope that I can sit down and just present not with him. I assume I won't meet him, but with his people, and just try to get this on his plate in some way. The idea of digital ownership, like being taken advantage of by these companies, the companies need to be. I feel like this is an interesting, good win. And here's the thing. Here's my angle with this. And I don't want to get too into the poli sci with these people, obviously, but I'm like, this is a good thing to do with young people.
Right. Yeah. You got to sell it to them as something that they should care about.
Right. And like, it's something to make them care about you. yeah, you're doing this and this and this and all these great things that you feel like you're doing for your district, but like, what about the young people? Like, what about the connected people, the next generation, the people that about things you don't understand? And so I feel like I'm a conversationalist by profession. I feel like if I can just get in a room with these people, I can persuade them. But then again, they deal with many persuasive people all the time.
Yeah.
And they're the levers of power are often being grasped at. So yeah, am I the person you need doing this? Probably not. But am I the only person? Listen, as far as I can tell, I'm one of the only people doing anything actionable. So again, by the way, so we tried to go through the companies, specifically with Sony. I feel like that's been insufficient. Though I've been happy to work with them. They've been very friendly to me. I've tried to give them as much information as I've learned. So next week on Sacred Symbols Plus, I think it'll be next week, I'll sit with Pork Poncho, who's the InfoSec guy that we all know. We play Marathon with him. But he's he's an IT specialist, and has a lot of experience in that field. And he's done an enormous amount of work on like what's going on with the PSN, how this all works, like what's broken about it. We're going to sit down, do an entire episode about it. I'm going to do some research to try to figure out how people in different major countries can so like, and also the EU and other places who they can write to, how they can get meetings. Like, I want to put a little package together so that it won't be little because it's Sacred Symbol, so it's gonna be like 17 hours long probably. Right. But and just be like, this is everything. This is like what's broken. This is what happens to people. These are the solutions. This is how Sony is negligent. This is how, and then here's if you're in Canada, do this. If you're in the UK, do this. If you're in the US, do this. If you're in Europe, do this. The unfortunate reality, and even with Canada to a degree, it's like the unfortunate reality is there are only certain places in the world that can really bend these companies. And it's the United States, it's Japan. They're not going to do anything to their own companies. And it's the EU. And I really feel like the EU is the place to make this happen. The problem with this is that it's not going to happen in Japan because they're very corporately conservative, but they're also Nintendo in Japan and Sony rather at their companies. And I don't think it's going to happen here because of Microsoft. But Europe, they don't really give a shit about any of that. And they're also the most, I think, aggressively pro-consumer there as well. So it's cool people are focusing on the physical disc aspect of it. That's up to them, and I wish them the best. But I'm going to be focusing entirely on this like digital ownership thing, about the idea that like this has to change, and if it's not going to change by voluntarily, it's going to change by force. And because everyone's like, they're not going to do it, they can't do it, and I'm like, there's a lot of things they don't want to do, and then they have to. We're not doing this anymore. That's like my whole thing is we're not doing this anymore. We're not doing this like tenuous digital ownership thing where you can do whatever you want with people. No. And by the way, it happened. I don't know if you saw the thing I retweeted, and this is what really got a bee in my bonnet, as it was with Microsoft, because they talked to this dude in the Netherlands, and they didn't delete just his Xbox account. They deleted everything. Like his whole Microsoft presence
oriented. Yeah.
Right. And I'm like, no. Nope. This like shouldn't even be an option. What you're doing to people should be illegal. And something's got to be done about it. And I have a fire lit under my ass about this. Like I don't know how much I don't not know how much power I have. I don't have any power. But I think that I can be somewhat convincing. It is my sincere hope, like when the Congress people or the congressman's team looks over my letter or whatever, I don't know if they've done it yet. They probably get a lot of things, but it's like I pointed to my social media, my presence online, like thing. I'm like, what I will say is I'm a lot bigger than the congressman. Online,
certainly.
right?
Certainly.
And so it's like, let's do this. The problem though, and this is why I think you would be more effective in this regard, and people in San Francisco and other Washington, is there's no tech industry here. I did say to him, I'm like, the game industry is alive and well in your district. Like, here I am. But it's not like Ro Khanna or one of these other guys that's like the Silicon Valley, San Francisco.
Yeah.
Like Nancy Pelosi would have been, someone to do this with, or people in Washington State, people in LA, Orange County, Irvine.
Yeah.
That's my one fear. But we'll see what happens. And
yeah, I mean, it's there's no way a lot of people are writing their congressman, so that's already kind of they probably get like 4 letters a year from real politically. Like I would imagine that the overwhelming majority of the things that they get are like lobbyists.
Yeah, and there's probably a lot of people upset about random things that
the stop sign's too red,
right? That totally that kind of shit. And
David Lynch rants,
right? Exactly. Who gives a fuck about how red the stop sign is?
Who gives a fuck about the intersection? Who cares? Drive your car.
Congressman David Lynch.
Dude, oh my God. That's a great creation.
Who cares? Yeah, anyway. So we'll see what comes of it. I think I'm starting to lose a lot of respect for all of these companies because I feel like it's a cop-out. And
of course, yeah.
You see, like the idea that it's like maybe no one will notice. And it's why I made the point last week when I talked to you about it. It's like I forgive these companies for making these choices when things weren't obvious. But we are so far beyond that point now that it's enough already. It's fucking enough.
Right. It's
you should have voluntarily been doing this in the PS3 and 360 era. Right? Like, yeah. But you didn't. And so even if things can't change going backwards, even if there's, for instance, Chris, if there's like a way, and I believe that this is, I won't even say could be true, it probably is true, is that like, they're like, we literally can't turn your license into a product that you own. It's like, fair enough. Starting now, you better change the language in future purchases, you know? And
right.
Like it's kicking the can down the roads and everyone's like, they're not going to do it. It can't. I'm like, we can't have this conversation anymore. It's got to be done. And hopefully it can be retroactive. And I think if the government's threat, ESRB style, doesn't make them act by themselves, then just the government themselves acting and being like, you can't do this. You can't do this to people anymore. And so trust me, the video is going to be deep and we'll get into it and it'll be fun. Please look forward to it.
Good. That's cool.
We got to be more proactive. I appreciate people signing online petitions and fucking busting balls and comments on, but it's like someone's got to do something. Like we can't like this isn't the solution. Like we have to do like these companies exist for us. Like they don't get to just operate. I've said this over and over again. I don't believe in that. I've never, and that's what gets so mad. They're like, oh, the very libertarian. I'm like, guys, I've never ever believed that companies should just do whatever they want and could and can do whatever they want. Never. That's never been a thing I've believed. So
yeah, people always boil everything down to the dumbest shit possible.
I'm socially libertarian. I've never really been libertarian about the role of the government interfering. I believe in tariffs. Like I don't, right. I don't have any problem with the government saying like the business exists on our behalf. You're going to do things a certain way or not at all. We have the power. We do. Everyone has forgotten about that.
Well, it's easy to forget. It's easy to forget that right now. There's a feeling that there's like we're in like a post accountability world.
Yeah.
Right. Where there's like you can really just kind of get away with like, oh yeah, we're just gonna insider trade like out in the open now. It's just like, all right, well, I don't know what we're doing.
Yeah, Kalshi and Polymarket, people are insider trading on that so crazy that it's they're cool marketplaces. I really like them, but like
if they weren't so inherently
they have to be regulated.
It's I don't know. I get why
they're like a security, like they need to be regulated. Like it's like everything else is regulated.
I don't know.
The fuck is wrong with everybody? William, thank you for writing in. Optimus Pounds wrote in and said, this one's for the plant nerd Colin. At the time of recording, I will be closing on a new house with a lawn. It is roughly a half an acre with beds of various flora aligning the property. I'm equally excited at the cathartic possibilities and terrified at the concept of landscaping and yard work, some of which I, of course, will hire professionals for, such as proper early fall aeration and seeding. That said, what happened? What?
No, keep going.
Okay. That said, any tips for someone who hasn't cared for a lawn in nearly 2 decades when I used to scrape together measly allowances to purchase or rent video games? I'll go back to my research on electrical lawn equipment sets and listen. What got to you?
No, because I was like, he's closing on a house in 2026. I wonder how much. I wonder like what this guy's bank account looks like. And then he's like, I'm gonna hire some help. I was like, okay, there you go. To
his credit, like I don't blame. So I don't. aerating is not difficult and overseeding and stuff is not difficult, but like you have to store that shit. I hire people because I'm like, I don't want an aerator in my garage. Like, what the fuck am I going to do with an aerator?
If you don't have like a shed or something, because like we have like my parents have a garage. And we have two. One shed is like clearly rotted and fucking falling apart. The last people just didn't do anything with it, but the other one's like huge, and that's where like the lawnmower goes in there, the weed whacker, all the stuff that like shouldn't be in the garage reasonably.
Right. Yeah. Like I don't, so Optimus is on a half an acre. I don't even have a half an acre. A half an acre is a fairly reasonable plot for one person to take care of. If you're going to need it. Like the thing is that for a half an acre, I would, depending on like how big your house is and how things are situated, that's gotta be a tractor. I don't think you're going to use a push mower. The electric, like I have a push mower, so that's easy to store. And I'm all electric too. I use I'm a basic bitch. I use Cobalt, which is Lowe's store brand.
Is that the yellow one?
It's the blue. No, it's the blue one. It's the blue one, like the Cobalt blue one.
Oh well, that makes sense. Cobalt.
And I didn't even know it was Lowe's brand. Like my uncle, as like a housewarming gift, got me a Cobalt electric mower. And so I'm like, all right, I'll just, because you can use all the batteries and everything. So I'm like, all right, I'll just be a Cobalt guy. Then earlier this year, I went to Home Depot. And I was like, where's the Cobalt stuff? And then like we looked it up and it's like, oh, they don't sell Cobalt stuff because it's fucking Lowe's brand. And I'm like, oh, I didn't know that. It makes sense. And it's that Lowe's blue. So I understand that.
Yeah. My dad recently got obsessed with these electric chainsaws.
Oh yeah.
He's got like this like one that's a really small, like a tiny, like it's like a dual wieldable chainsaw. It's ridiculous.
Sick.
But it's a yellow. It's what is this? Ryobi?
Oh, Ryobi. Yeah.
Ryobi, and it looks like, I'm looking at it now, and it literally looks like a marathon, like a weapon, like the type of yellow it is. It's
all these companies have their distinct. It's cool. Like all these companies have their distinct shade.
Yeah.
And you can kind of identify them from afar by like the shade, which is kind of interesting. But I do highly recommend the electric setup. I have like an electric weed whacker, an electric blower, and so on and so forth. And then you just charge the batteries. But
it's so much better. It's so much better than gas.
Yeah, I just find it to be so much cleaner and easier. And there are way fewer moving parts, and you don't have to use oil at all. Gas mowers are much more powerful, but you don't need that unless you're doing, real landscaping. I got to say, Optimus Pounds, I've gotten a lot of joy and pleasure by working out in the yard. I'm out in the yard every day, pretty much doing something. And that's you asked for advice. My piece of advice is to chip away, because it can be overwhelming. So like every day do something, or most days do something. Like I'm going to trim this. Today I'm going to mow the lawn. Tomorrow I'm going to do this. Like I am a very fastidious gardener. I like deadheading my flowers. So I'm out there constantly doing things, and I really enjoy it. And it gets me away from my screens, and it gets me out of the house. And so look forward. Like it's not for everyone. I mean, a lot of people don't give a shit. I'm in my neighborhood. Some people have shitty yards. Some people have really nice yards. Like you have to put effort into it. But I enjoy putting the effort into it. I think it's it's a hobby. Like I like gardening. I have a bunch of indoor plants too, but indoor plants kind of take care of themselves. Outdoor plants are, especially here with the clay soil, the fucking crazy heat. It's very persnickety. You got to take care of things. You get to know things. You learn. I really enjoy the process of like, oh, this bombed, this, and then, or like, this is killing. Like I'll do this again. And slowly I'm out there fertilizing, I'm clipping, I'm pruning. Enjoy it. It's a fun thing, and getting it going, and then watching it come up, and like over the years it becomes more full, and the trees get bigger, and it's all because of your hard work. It's cool.
Yeah.
So please enjoy it. But I hire people too. Like I mow my own lawn, I do that. But I have, like I said, I have a lawn care guy that comes once a month, and he just does different chemical treatments and aerates. I have people dealing with like turning off my sprinklers on and off at the beginning and the end of the year, because you have to, of course, turn your sprinklers off and blow them out, or they'll freeze and break all of the pipes. Then you'll have many thousands of dollars of repairs. It's a rookie move, dude. That's one thing I'll say is that's a rookie move. And I wouldn't have really known it either. I did a lot of study about it, and I knew this because I did landscaping for years too, but it's like there's always someone that doesn't shut their sprinklers off. And you find out the next spring when you go to turn them on, and it's all fucked up. So you have to hire someone to shut them off, and they blow all of the water out of the pipes with like an air compressor, so that there's no possibility that they'll freeze.
Crazy.
You learn something new every day.
Yeah.
Rutabaga has the final inquiry, and he says, "Hello, Mr. Collin. How did you go about choosing the name Rudiger or Rudiger for your character in Saint Slayer?" It is Rudiger. I couldn't help but note it, but I say to my mind's mouth as Rudiger, though, if you want to know. I couldn't help but notice how close it is to my longstanding handle. My name stems from a college buddy calling me Rudy Rutabaga, and I was too ignorant to understand exactly what he said. Using my ancient knowledge and skills of phonics, I created the name Rutabaga. I assume the name Rudiger has a similar history. One wonders, however, if it has anything to do with another great Rudy, the one and only Rudy Rudiger. Yes, that semicolon is for you. P.S. You and Chris are doing great, but I can't help but miss the comfortable and stable presence of Dustin. The three of you together are like the Gary, Keith, and Ron of video game podcast. Let's go Mets. Gary, Keith, and Ron, of course, are the Mets commentators.
Of course.
I read a story about them. Of course. Well, they've been together for so many years.
Yeah.
I didn't know if you just being in New York, you knew that or not, but
no way.
Here's how I came up with the name Rudiger for Saint Slayer's protagonist is I went on Google and I Googled 16th and 17th century Holy Roman Empire names. It gave me this list at some, .edu website. Then I just poured through it. I'm like, yeah, there you go. That one. And, somewhere on the list was that. I'm like, there, here he is.
Yeah.
That's how I did it. All right.
Completely valid.
Chris, let's get into the news. Things for
it.
us to discuss today. I wanted to start with a PSA. I think that makes the most sense. This is kind of getting buried under a lot of the other negative Sony news, but I know a lot of people go to San Diego Comic-Con. Have you ever been to San Diego Comic-Con? We must have talked about this.
No. I went to New York Comic-Con in 2012, I think. But I wasn't really feeling I'm not that comic book oriented, so I just didn't. And even back then when it was film and stuff like that, and there were video games there, I think the Halo people were there. It was just this is cool, but it's not my scene.
Yeah, San Diego Comic-Con is a scene, dude. I've only been to San Diego Comic-Con once. I think it was it might have been 2000. It must have been 2011. The reason I say that is because I went because I hosted the Resistance 3 panel at Comic-Con. So I was there just for a day. I literally flew in and flew out.
Yeah. And
my memory of that day is that it was so crowded and cars weren't able to go around that me and the PR girl from Sony got into what do they call them? Like a pedicab or something? Like what the guy on the bike?
Yeah.
Right. And I just remember that so well. That's what we had to do to get around because it was too crowded. It's a mass of people, unlike almost anything I've seen outside of Gamescom or Tokyo Game Show. And I would never want to go to San Diego Comic-Con again. And I'm sure it's way worse now.
It seems huge. Because I know that the New York one is way smaller because it's in what is it, the
Javits Center.
It's in the Javits Center.
Yeah.
And so it's it's still a big location, but it's it was more. That was the only Comic-Con I ever went to. It was cool.
Yeah, New York Comic-Con is cool. We were there at the same time because I was at the 2012 one as well.
Oh, that's that's really funny. I think I met a number of cool people. I think that's where I met Monty Ohm, the late great Monty Ohm animator at Rooster Teeth, who passed away a long ass time ago now.
Yeah, that's right.
And I had a long conversation with him. It was interesting.
I forgot about him.
But
yeah, people were really torn up about that, I remember.
Yeah, it was crazy.
Yeah, I hadn't even thought about that. Yeah.
But it wasn't that long. It was 10 minutes. But it felt long for me.
Cool. IGN was kind enough to because I always wanted an excuse to go home, so they would send me to New York Comic-Con every year, which I appreciated. So New York Comic-Con I went to a lot. I went probably 5 times, maybe something like that. And it is a different thing, although that started Javits is so small that it started comparable. That it started getting really crowded as well. But anyway, I bring this up because Sony is going to be at San Diego Comic-Con 2026. And so if you're going to be there, there are 3 panels as an FYI, a PSA that you might want to keep an eye out for. So on Thursday, 2 of them are in Hall H, by the way, which is the big place. So Thursday, July 23rd at noon, there's going to be a Marvel Tokon Fighting Souls. Actually, we should go in sequential order here. Thursday, July 23rd at 11:15 in Hall H, Marvel's Wolverine will be presented. And it's a pretty nice collection of people on the panel. My friend, Marcus Smith, the director, game director, Mike Daly, narrative director, and an old buddy of mine as well, Walt Williams. I was just talking about him recently, actually. He's the guy I interviewed about, he worked on BioShock, and he was the guy that I interviewed about BioShock when I made the sample chapter for the book I was going to publish when I was at IGN.
Cool.
And Jess Reiner Reed, who is the senior project director, are joined by the voice actors Liam McIntyre, who's Wolverine, Christia Bayos, who is Jean Grey, and it's all hosted by executive producer Eric Monticelli, which is funny. Eric Monticelli used to work at Naughty Dog. He was actually the guy that facilitated the history of Naughty Dog with me. So I know him fairly well from that era. And it's being hosted by Naomi Kyle, which is interesting. So then after that, so that's it from 11:15 to noon. And then Tokon Fighting Souls will be next, also in Hall H. So that's Thursday, July 23rd at noon. And it's going to be a bunch of people from Arc System Works and Marvel there. And then the next day in Ballroom 20, Friday, July 24th at 5:30 p.m., there's going to be a God of War panel. And this will be Corey and the cast of the game, I guess. So we'll see. I'm sure interesting news will come out of these panels. Hopefully people ask the right questions. And I'll also be interested to see if anyone is an asshole to them. Because one thing I want to say, I understand everyone be mad. Do what you got to do about the situations right now. Don't take it out on these guys, please. You know, I'm not asking you because I care about like Insomniac or Arc System Works reputation. It's just they're probably so afraid that they're going to have to deal with this. The media training that they're probably having to do because they expect that they're going to have someone. Remember the Diablo thing?
Oh, don't you guys have phones?
Right.
Yeah.
I feel like something like that could happen. So we'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see. I mean, they can't pull out of these things now, and I don't think you would want to do it anyway because that would just show a level of weakness. But I just blame Sony. Don't blame Insomniac and Arc System Works. That's all I'm saying. Ask good questions about the games, please. I would like to know more, especially about God of War.
Yeah.
So a little PSA for you guys if you're going to be there, and I guess that would be next weekend. When around the time episode 421 goes live. All right. A couple analyst forecasts I wanted to talk about. These are big pieces of news that have been circulating recently, and I should have numbered these before. I'm trying to keep track of.
I could do it.
Oh no! Don't even worry about it because I got to. Don't even sweat it because I'm keeping the numbers on the phone. Yeah, don't even sweat it.
All right.
Thank you though. I appreciate that. Couple analyst reports that have been circulating. I don't know if you've seen these, Chris. People are talking about them now. I put some stock into analyst reports. I mean, these guys are paid to look at things and prognosticate, but
right.
These are somewhat controversial numbers going around right now, and I wanted to go into them. So the first one, it comes from gamesindustry.biz, and they write here, analyst, game console shipments expected to decline 19.5% to 33.9 million units in calendar 2026. So basically, if you read this report, they were saying the decline was already going on and probably has not everything to do with pricing, although pricing is playing a factor, but that the only reason that things hadn't declined year over year is because of Switch 2's release, which is interesting, but that they expect a cumulative drop, and that would be even worse without Switch 2. But the big thing here, this report comes from S&B Global Market Intelligence, as relayed by Games Industry is they write some interesting stuff about each of the consoles, including Switch 2, including Xbox Series, and obviously PlayStation 5. And they also talk about the next gen Project Helix from Xbox and PlayStation 6, or what we presume will be called PlayStation 6 from Sony. So here's what they say. And this really goes to show you, in my opinion, PS5's dominant market position comparable to Xbox, right? But then it gets a little softer later, and you'll see what I mean. In 2025, PS5 shipped 17.1 million units. And in 2026, they expect Sony to ship only 13.2 million. So supply constrained, plus there are fewer interested buyers because the people that want PlayStation has it, and so on. So natural. Xbox, these numbers, dude. It's even worse than I thought. In 2025, they shipped 3.2 million units. So think about that. 17.1 million to 3.2 million.
Yeah.
Is an almost 6-to-1 ratio. Way worse than I thought. And in 2026, they say it'll go down to 2.5 million. So 13.2 million to 2.5 million. And the interesting thing they say here, and I have the quote brought up, S&P forecast 2.5 million Xbox Series units sold in 2026 with, quote, a rapid wind down towards zero thereafter. So what I've been saying about Xbox Series specifically about it having kind of been through 90 to 90% of its allocation at this point seems true comparable to these numbers. But here's where things get a little interesting. PlayStation 6. So they make these assumptions, which I don't really quite understand. And they write this in their forecast. And I wonder if they did this because this work has already been in progress. You don't want to like kind of spike it and not release it. You did all this work. But Neil Barber, who's S&P Global Market Intelligence Analyst that released their report, said, quote, a critical assumption underlying our forecast recovery period later in the decade is that the component crisis eases sufficiently by 2028 to allow Sony and Microsoft to bring next generation hardware to market at price points in between $600 and $800. I don't know. First of all, I don't think Project Helix was ever going to be in that cost range. I don't think it can be. It's supposed to be a PC.
Yeah.
And then $600 to $800, dude, that would be sick. If PlayStation 6 could really squeeze in there at even at $800, that would be pretty cool. But it's important to note that that's their assumption. So take that, keep that in mind as you take these numbers that I'm about to say. They expect that PlayStation 6 and Helix will both launch calendar 28. I think this is a fairly safe assumption, although I don't know about that. Like I still keep saying I think fall 27 could still happen, but we'll see. Because they're going to have to manufacture the device when they're going to manufacture it, and so they can't really wait for better pricing. That's not really the way it works. They can get better pricing later, but not for the initial run. I think. I mean, that's how it's been explained to me. So here's what they say, Chris. PS6 in 2028, 4 million units. 4. It's launch year. 4. To put that into context, the PS4 sold 1 million units in one day in the United States.
Yeah.
So they're going to be in such horrible shape, apparently, with this thing, at the assumption, by the way, that it's at a reasonable price, that they expect that this thing will only ship 4 million units. And for Helix, they say 2 million that year. I mean, that's crazy, dude.
Yeah.
I mean, that would be an unprecedentedly horrible start to getting these things into the wild. I don't understand. I hope that's, I don't know. But here's where it gets a little more interesting, though. They skip 2029 and they go to 2030. They assume things will have been adjusted nicely and the price will start going down from wherever it was. They say PS6 by 2030, 17.2 million in that year. So again, getting back up to like PlayStation numbers. Helix, 7.3. So these are just guesses. And
right.
I think people are fairly pointing out that we don't know anything about PS6 either. We do in the sense that it's leaked thoroughly, but they haven't acknowledged it. But we don't even really know what the Helix is. We actually really don't even know what it is. We know that what the PS6 is. It's a closed architecture console and handheld. So at least you can judge it based on that. But we really don't know what the Helix is.
No.
So I don't know. I don't know if I take these numbers too seriously, but I wanted to share them with people because they're making the rounds. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, the specificity of the numbers is a little dubious to me. Like 4 million for even a soft PS6 feels a little bit too low. I have no question, no doubt in my mind that the PS6 will be softer than the PS5.
Oh yeah,
like that's almost, in my opinion, guaranteed at this point. Obviously, things can change. We can see the machine, and maybe it is just so irresistibly sexy that it just somehow recaptures all the goodwill again. Maybe it's possible. But 4 million, like, I don't know, like that seems. I could see 4 million if you assume every single member of the consumer base and customer base is thoroughly educated on like what's going on. But I feel like there's a lot of families out there that are just gonna be like, oh, PS6, all right, Christmas.
Yeah,
and I think 4 million is a bit low. It's possible, but like that would be shocking.
I don't think it says it in here. Yeah, like I wonder
what was PS5's year one sales. Do we remember that? PS5 year one sales.
7.8 during its first fiscal year.
Oh, okay. Well, hmm,
Oh, and 7.6 PS4s. So it's about half.
yeah,
I don't.
guess I could see that.
Yeah, it seems
That seems more plausible. I assumed it was a lot higher than that for some reason.
it seems low to me. Like, but because I think that would be pretty disastrous for Sony. I mean, that would be the worst start to a console since PS1, I would assume.
Right, but if they are approaching this again, this is in the context of these machines almost certainly running in tandem with each other in a way that previous generations before this just didn't really expect to. Like this is going to be the boutique version of the PS5.
Right, I agree.
That's what this is going to be. Like they're going to call it PS6 or whatever, but like this is really going to be PS5 point. This is PS5 too, is what this is. You know.
So, you know what though? These numbers are a little. Yeah, you know what, Chris? We got to check though. These numbers are bad though, because PlayStation 5 sold 7.8 million units globally during its first fiscal year. That means it was only on sale for 4 months during that time.
Right.
Because the fiscal year ends March 31st, 2021. So from November 2020 through March 2021, that's it. So that 7.8 comes from 4 months. This is a calendar projection of 12 months. Because they don't say fiscal year. And we also don't know, like, it also depends on where they launch it. If they launch it in 2028, they're probably going to launch it in the spring, which means that more months will be counted. Because I was looking up, I was like, the PS3's numbers are even worse. Actually, the PS3 numbers are 3.61 million. But again, that's only for 4 months. So, anyway, it's just something to point out. So this is pretty bad if you're assuming that they're talking about 12-month calendar years. That's a pace like worse than the Dreamcast. But I think things way worse actually. But I think things are I think things will be stable in the sense that, like you said, I don't think people are going to want to move over. I also think a lot of this, we've noted this before, like it's all about how much PlayStation plays into whether you need it or not. And what I mean by that is like, what games are going to be on it? I loved what someone had said recently. Someone might have said it on one of our shows of like, you do some dick-headed thing, like put Bloodborne on it. Like where it's like, like a Demon Souls style Bloodborne, which is what Bluepoint probably should have been doing. I mean, and then it's like, only on PS6. There you go. Like that kind of thing. And if you're willing to do that with your games, then it will draw more people over. But I just don't think they're willing to do it. You know, I was thinking about even before this era of being very stubborn with generations. I think about it's a random game and it's not a big game, but I think about Housemarque's Resogun. And how it was a PS4 launch game, and they promised and they swore it's like the voxels and all this, it can't run. And then they backwards ported it to Vita, nonetheless PS3. So from that perspective, I feel like anything's possible with their catalog of games, and they can kind of try to fake it a little bit too. And then bring them later.
So when we're talking about calendar year, we're talking about that calendar year, not like 12 months from the launch of the machine, right?
Well, that's what I was saying. Like, I don't know. Like, yeah, you're right. Calendar year would be a year defined. I'm talking about 12 months.
Sure.
You know what I mean? So that's a third definition of year, which is funny. So yeah, I don't know. It's just interesting because I feel like it all is contingent on what these things are and what their price are. And I do understand Xbox fans, especially being a little upset about people talking about how bad the Xbox Helix is going to do, when it's like, yeah, it probably will do bad, but we don't really understand it yet. In fact, the way that they talk about it in their interviews makes it sound like they're changing it. I mean, that's the way I read it. Is that like there was something about, because I think my prediction is that I think Asha came in and realized the multiple storefront thing. And I think she realized, it's like, I understand what you're doing here. You're going to kill the hardware though. And we might want to do that in the mid to long term, but you can't, I don't know. I think she realized, like, what's the point? If we're going to do this, like, what is the point? But I think if these numbers are true, especially for Xbox Series decline, it's like, man, putting Gears on it to die, and more sadly to me, Clockwork Revolution or whatever, where it's going to be on PC. They'll be fine. They'll do well on PC, but it's like, I don't think you made the right choice. If these numbers are indicative of anything, I think you made a pretty bad choice.
I 100% agree. And the thing that bothers me about it is like, okay, let's. So with the Gears thing in particular, it really bothers me because it's like, okay, you're going to send this game out to die on a platform that has no meaningful install base. I guess it'll be on PC as well, in fairness, but you actively took it off of another platform. It was going to be for PS5. Now it's not. If Gears doesn't sell well, is the coalition then going to suffer the consequences of that?
That's what I'm afraid of.
Because like that's not their decision. This is what I'm saying. This is what I talk about often. And I know people get annoyed about it, where it's just like the people often responsible for the fuck ups are not the people who end up receiving the brunt of the consequences for it.
Oh, no doubt.
And that's what pisses me off because it's just like, what are we doing here? You really, because I know that's gonna happen. It's like, oh, we're gonna get rid of some of the coalition. And it's like, well, it's not their fault that you took their game off of the most popular console platform to make a weird play. Like what did I don't know.
This is what I was saying about id. And I don't think people are like, people on PS5 and PC could have bought the game too. And I'm like, yes, but your community didn't buy it at all.
Right.
And that's what I was saying earlier about like when you're bragging about, I actually saw someone recently say, I haven't gone and double checked it, but that they were bragging that Doom to Dark Ages was the biggest Doom launch ever. But they're looking at player numbers. Right. And my whole point is I'm like, if a quarter of you bought it, they would have made more money than none of you buying it. And so these studios being sacrificed to this altar, it's a shame, dude. And you either see it or you don't. Like it's almost impossible to even explain it anymore. It's like, well, I don't know, man. I don't know what you want me to tell you. Like at some point, it's just complete ignorance and willful ignorance at that. Like when your own executives are saying it's not working, I think it's going to be all right. All right. So the other analyst thing that I wanted to bring up, if I might, Chris, is, and this just came out today. This is from Newzoo, a fairly well-respected analyst firm that releases a lot of interesting insights and numbers, reports, and so on and so forth. This one's about Grand Theft Auto 6. And they write, Newzoo's data shows that GTA 6 generated roughly $180 million in digital pre-order sales across the US and the 5 largest European markets in its first week. These markets are the UK, France, Italy, Germany, and Spain. Based on pre-order sales curve, GTA 6 is most like the sales curve GTA 6 is most likely to follow. This puts the game on pace for $3.3 to $5.2 billion in cumulative global sales by the end of launch week. That marks the strongest opening to a pre-order campaign ever recorded in our data set. So here's what they say. What does the $260 million in week one of pre-orders mean for GTA 6? The answer depends on which pre-order curve GTA 6 follows. Broadly, there are 3 curves to hit for titles. The brand new IP, Cyberpunk 2077, Hogwarts Legacy are examples. Nobody knows what they're buying until early reviews, so pre-order bookings trickle in before climbing exponentially, a hockey stick. The second option is sequel with performance uncertainty. They talk about Spider-Man 2 and Battlefield 6 as examples of this. The franchise and gameplay are well known, but execution on the specific installment isn't. And then the third is the proven sequel, a known quantity. And they talk about EA Football Club here. Massively anticipated, each release with a tried and tested formula and an aggregated loyal audience. So a higher share of total revenue is booked early in the pre-order window. So what they're basically saying is that there are simply 3 curves that you would mark based on how you would identify this game. And I think the proven sequel, a known quantity, is likely what it's going to be. So they say of the 3, GTA 6 will most closely resemble the proven sequel curve. On that curve, the opening week counts for 5.8% of total revenue booked by the end of launch week. At a $260 million opening week, that implies GTA 6 is on pace for a $4.5 billion sales by launch week, roughly 51 million units at an assumed $88 average selling price. Now, I brought this up because, Chris, if it launches in a launch week at 51 million units, it immediately becomes the 11th best-selling game of all time. That's ahead of We Fit and Pokemon Red and Blue, a bunch of Call of Duty games, the original Sonic. Pretty interesting. Mm-hmm. So just wanted to throw that out there that it and by the way, this isn't for the times we're in, it's an all digital game. So
that's right.
I don't know, man. I don't know.
Is that possible? 51 million units. That seems like that's a lot, dude. Like that feels like too much. Like I know that GTA 5, I know that game's going to do crazy. But that feels insane because wasn't like Elden Ring was available everywhere.
Right.
And that was like, I think like 11 or something. It was like 11, I think, in the first day or the first week or something.
Yeah, I think what these numbers sound very high to me too. Well, not very high, but high. It will certainly reach that number.
Certainly.
This suggests that 1 in 3 console owners will buy the game launch week.
Yeah.
Globally. I mean, that's a fairly ambitious thing. It'll be in the tens of millions for sure.
Undoubtedly, yes.
It could be, Chris. I mean, we're kind of, I mean, I don't want to say we, I want to speak for you, but I'm somewhat disconnected from the reality of like the normal gamer. I don't talk to many normal gamers. Like this could be one of those games that just reignites a lot of people and brings them in. And we're going to talk a little bit later. It's a much smaller example, but Black Ops 1 and 2 coming to PSN, it's like people are coming out of the fucking woodwork. So imagine a game, right. Imagine a game like this. Like people are going to be coming out of the woodwork for this game. People that probably might not even never played a game since GTA 5. So there's something about this game, but I would love to know. I would love to know what their numbers look like at Take-Two right now. Like, how do they feel? Are they feeling good?
Yeah.
Or are they feeling nervous? I don't know.
I mean, even half of that is amazing. You know what I mean? Like even so to imagine that it's going to be that much in such a short time. It both would and wouldn't surprise me because this is I've said this before where this is kind of the last really big traditional game with this amount of hype behind it. There's really not anything on the horizon that matches this. This is very likely the last we'll get of something like this. At least until the next GTA, which like who knows if that's even going to be a thing if they just like dedicate to making this a platform of some kind, which I think would be also cool. But I mean, you figure like Elder Scrolls 6 is maybe the other thing, but like even that's like compared to GTA, I feel like it's not on the same. That's not on the same level. So I'm sure a lot of people are going to come out of the woodwork for this. But that number is, what is it, 50 million? 50 something million?
They say at $260 million opening week, that implies GTA 6 is on pace for $4.5 billion in sales by launch week, which is 51 million units at an assumed $88 selling price. So they assume some people will buy many people will buy the $100 version.
That would be nothing short of amazing.
I mean, it'd be crazy. And if those projections are true, and by the way, Rockstar and Take-Two can hide these numbers from everyone except for 2 entities, Sony and Microsoft. So you can read, we'll use Sony as an example. PlayStation is obviously going to be the de facto home of this game. Is like, they might be looking at this and be like, oh my God, man, we're going to make so much fucking money. Like it's, whatever we were losing from all of the drama and trauma we're dealing with right now, it's just gonna be completely offset. And I would love to know. They're staying so tight-lipped about this game. I think it's frustrating people, but I'm kind of digging it, if I'm being honest.
Yeah, me too. I like the mystery of it.
I saw some like big GTA Twitter account, like those accounts that have millions of followers and they just like news aggregates of all these things. And they were saying like GTA 6's marketing has been a failure so far. And I wanted to respond and be like, GTA 6's marketing hasn't even fucking begun, dude. Like, yeah, you're going to see GTA 6's marketing. I guarantee you that. It's too early to market it. What they're frustrated about is no trailers, no working the enthusiast market for things. And I'm like, yeah, that's marketing too, but a different kind of marketing. They are going to spend hundreds of millions of dollars. Like they're going to spend the higher than a budget of like a Naughty Dog game on just marketing this game. So
right.
Just wait until football season. I assume you're going to see plenty of Grand Theft Auto.
When does football season start?
September.
Wow. Yeah, that sounds about right.
And wait until like, you're going to see placards at Premier League games, and you're going to see 60-second spots, which are really expensive during, Sunday Night Football. Like that's the kind of shit you're going to see, I think. Patience. There's no reason. And again, I've said it a million times, right, Chris? In my opinion, I don't think they gain anything by showing anything. I would think it would be dope if they barely showed anything in the game. There's like, you'll see.
Yeah, I'm kind of in the mode where like, even if I think I might just completely avoid all the marketing for this game. Like as best I can. I know it's going to be really impossible, but I like how little I know about it. And how little I know about what it's going to be. And we know a little bit about what it's about. Kind of, but not really also.
Right.
So I kind of want to keep it that way. Because again, like I don't know when the next time this is going to happen, like something like this.
Let's see here, Chris. Next up, wanted to close the loop on this.
Yeah.
Last week we talked about College Football 27, the very popular EA game, especially here in the United States, and how they, to catch everyone up, the basic drama was that in an attempt to sell single player microtransactions in Dynasty mode specifically, EA disabled modifying sliders that would usually be available in the game. So you have like a coach and the coach levels up, and you can actually just make it so your coach levels up really quickly if you want. It's kind of like cheating. It's kind of defeats the purpose of playing Dynasty mode, but like you can do those kinds of things. And so you can set the experience typically to like go slowly, like very slow, normal, fast, very fast. And they had disabled all of the fast moving experience bonuses and locked them behind these paywalls. And people in the community so EA kept this to themselves until the early access period for College Football 27, because they sold, I think you can get it 3 or 5 days early if you pre-order it, like the special edition. And so enthusiasts, including this college football creator on YouTube of some repute named Bordeaux, made a big stink about this. And so basically like people are upset that you have to kind of microtransact to get things that you used to get for free, even if it breaks the game. And EA released a statement basically reversing course on this decision. However, I will say that I think this is going to be a short-term victory, and I'll get into why I think that is. And as I understand, I haven't caught up with it completely since then because this just happened last night, today rather, is that I think Bordeaux is like that creator and other creators are still mad about stuff. So I have to get further into it. But here's what they say. Quote, "Thank you for your continued passion and for the incredible response to College Football 27. We love the game and the sport. College football is and always will be about the sights, sounds, pageantry, traditions, and atmosphere of Saturday in College Football 27. We aspire to deliver the deepest experience to date with all new Dynasty Blueprint, new positions in Road to Glory, and the best college football gameplay yet. However, your feedback on Road to Glory and Dynasty is that we've missed the mark with the introduction of paid progression options. This was added independent of deeper mode progression with the aim to give players more choice, but what you'd said is that they're not adding the value we intended. Tomorrow morning, so this has already happened, we will remove all paid progression options from Road to Glory and Online Dynasty. An unfortunate side effect of removing paid progression is that players that have college point balances in their wallets will not be able to apply the balances in Road to Glory or Dynasty. So jump in between now and then to apply your points. Hopefully you've already done that. Now here's where it gets a little dicey. Our goal for live service plans in College Football 28 and beyond, so next year, will be to deliver valuable features and content with greater transparency and communication. We're moving fast to respond to your feedback in-game, so stay tuned for follow-up communication next week, where we'll take you through more design details and share our goals for College Football 27. So, listen. Well, let me get into this letter first. Tim C. wrote in and said, "Hey guys, with EA putting out the statement about College Football 27, how much of the blame can be put on content creators with the progression of microtransactions in the first place? I understand that they were the most vocal about their outrage about the additional microtransactions in this game. However, they are the ones buying the games year after year, regardless of quality, and they only have outrage because it's starting to move into single player modes. They are the ones spending more than the average player in the online game modes to have videos about every new card and player that becomes available. Even though they do have no money spent videos to show how you can do it without spending money, they will still have a second account where they will pay to have the best team to create content. I understand it's their job, but regardless of how good the game is, they will spend the money in this online game modes year after year, which could entice their viewers to do the same. I think some sports fans feel their games go ignored because there is no longer competition in the space, And no matter what they make, their money is online microtransactions. Would love to know your thoughts. So I'm much more familiar with this than Chris is, and I'll say because he doesn't really interact with sports games at all, and I don't anymore either. But I did. And I read something really interesting, Chris, about 2K. So NBA 2K, another huge game. Is that so there was a comment on like one of these videos I was reading where a guy was like, listen, I know people are really upset about this shit. I basically only play 2K and a couple other games a year, and I have a normal job. I spend probably $1,000 a year in 2K making my team better because I can afford it. And it got thumbed up a bunch and people were commenting under it or whatever. And I'm like the reality, the reality of this, and this is the kind of conundrum is like most people that play these kinds of games, not everyone, but play them deeply. This is their shit. And spending $500 or $1,000 in the game is actually worth it to them and might even be less money per hour spent in playing games than I spend because I'm always buying new things. So they don't even, not only do they now, what I'm trying to say is they don't look at it as a ripoff. And there are people that are interacting with the game in deep ways like that. So for the most people that don't buy any microtransactions, that's fine, but you are being well outpaced by the simple amount of money that we used to call them whales, but they're not whales. I guess the point I'm making is they're more common than you think. And that's why these things appear there. I'm of the mind that like these options, especially in single player, I don't mind them existing. It's that it's removing what used to be free that bothers me a little bit. But here's the other side of what I wanted to say, Chris, is, and I made this point, I think last week when we reported on it the first time, is you ain't seen nothing yet with Electronic Arts. I'm just telling you. Okay. I went to research this just to make sure. They strapped $22 billion in debt to EA when they bought it. $22 billion. That's not a static number that has to be serviced. There's interest payments on that. It's a number that has to be whittled down constantly or it's going to get out of control and it's going to consume EA. This is the largest leverage buyout in history. And they're going to do shit like this in their games. And that's why I thought and I think this is why people are upset still, but I appreciated the candor in the statement to a degree where it's like, we'll be back with this. Like, we're going to massage this and communicate this better and make sure that the roadmap is known or whatever. But like, they are probably under a crunch unlike you have never experienced at EA with this game and with Madden and with Football Club and even with NHL and these other things. Like, NHL is a smaller game at EA, but like they're bringing back shit like online dynasty modes and stuff like that. They're doing all this for a reason.
Right.
So
yeah,
it's just, and Tim is right, Chris, like there is no competition in the space, but that is the fault of the leagues. People don't want to play fake football games. They don't want to play hockey games with fake players in it. They don't. Even in the show, Konami has long done. It's called Pro Baseball Spirits or something. It's like the Japanese version of the show for the Japanese baseball league, and that's getting a Western release now. But even then, it's because the players' associations and the licenses don't cross over. There can be no other AAA baseball games. There can be no other AAA NFL football games. I don't know if NBA is bound because EA used to make basketball games. But the point is that these leagues like it the way it is. And actually, the best way to bend this is to not go after EA, but to go after the leagues and say, like, we want competition in this space. But then the leagues go and say, like, well, we get these very handsome, royalty payments and licensing payments by giving them exclusive access. And if we don't do that, then the game sells worse. And then we have this other version of the game. And we've been there before and it didn't really work for us. I think this is a shitty situation, but it just is what it is. People don't want to play. There have been great sports games in the past that simply don't have the license and therefore they don't matter. And that's all there is to it. And it's too bad.
Yeah.
So expect a lot more of this. Like you in EA games, you have not seen anything yet. I am telling you, it's going to get fucking hairy out there, man, with EA games.
Oh man. They got to get that money somewhere.
It's like, they knew what they were doing when the people bought it. They knew that they had these yearly annualized expected funnels. So in other words, it's not like, oh, you're wedging Assassin's Creed in every year. We don't want Assassin's Creed every year. Like the tradition of these games is getting them every year. Everyone has always expected them every year. They are named after the years. And I think that was part of EA feeling, or the people, the PIF and these others, Silver Lake and others getting involved with this and saying, yeah, we'll take out all this money because there are these forced conduits that have to exist in 9-month development cycles, and people will never stop buying them. And you should be, and if anything, people should be thankful that EA doesn't have baseball or basketball. They did have them both, and they maybe could one day have them both, but at least those are with others. Because if they had a total sports monopoly, then
yeah, it'd be really bad.
Which is, I'm sure, what they want. I'm sure they love that. But
and did they do RBI or
RBI baseball? No, that was
who was RBI?
RBI was Tenjin originally, wasn't it? Let me see.
Oh, I don't know. That's the only baseball game that I played that wasn't the recent show games. RBI Baseball 2005 is the last.
Oh, Namco is RBI Baseball. The original RBI Baseball. And then
Namco.
it went, it was Tenjin as well. And then MLB took it in-house, I guess, at some, because like you said, like they've released more RBI Baseball games. I guess there was ones in 17 through 21 and so on and so forth. I remember RBI Baseball on the NES as the Tenjin game, though, the black cartridge game. I've recommended this to people many times, but the game, if you want to play an amazing old baseball game that is unlicensed but really, really deep, Baseball Stars on NES is a fucking game, dude. That game was so ahead of its time. I can't even believe how good that game was. That's an SNK game, so you might have some drama with that if you don't want to support the Saudis. But did you see, by the way, Games Done Quick or whatever was supposed to do the sponsored stream with SNK? I guess for, I don't know if it was King of Fighters or whatever. And they pulled out, which a lot of people were mad at them, but I respect that. Like,
yeah,
that's a very, very left-wing organization. And I think they're doing it because there's a lot of trans people and a lot of gay people in their community, and it just doesn't quite compute. But I have never actually seen anyone take a stand yet. And I was like, all right, cool.
Yeah, it's good. I mean, I would argue it's not even political, really. Like, you're not in a partisan way. It's just like, bro, this is like they kill journalists. Like it's not unreasonable to be like, maybe not. Maybe we won't do this. Maybe we won't work directly with this entity.
It's funny. It's funny, Chris, because I'm sure you didn't watch any haven't watched any World Cup soccer, but the
no, yeah.
They have the ads, like I was saying earlier, along the border of the field all the time, at soccer games. And Savvy Games Group had pretty prominent advertising during all of the World Cup. And Savvy Games Group is like is the games washing like organization that like is the Saudi games entity.
Oh,
and I was like, I bet you almost no one knows that's what that is. It's very similar to Level Infinite and all that stuff with China,
right?
And I was like, oh, very interesting. They are advertising very expensively and very heavily, and they're making games. I don't know what's going to come of it. I mean, we made fun of it at the time when they had like these like traditional Western game developers, with their purple hair and their complicated sexualities, and they're working out of like Riyadh, and it's like, okay,
yeah,
you guys are definitely not sellouts, but cool, have fun. All right. So college football 27 saved for now, but I think things are going to get pretty dicey for you guys. But man, that game is huge, dude. But you know what else was huge, Chris, on PlayStation Network that came out recently? Black Ops 1 and 2. And I thought this was interesting. So I was talking earlier about those Twitter accounts, those famous Twitter accounts that cover certain games. I think everyone on Twitter knows the Twitter account Charlie Intel. It's a Call of Duty account. They cover other things too.
Oh yeah.
But they have a deep well of connections to Activision, and that's been demonstrated many times in the past. They tweeted this out: the Call of Duty Black Ops and Black Ops 2 ports on PlayStation have more players online than Black Ops 7 does combined on all platforms, sources say. This is brutal. If you are this is to me the sign of you can't boycott things if you have the counterbalance of this. In other words, like it's got to be very frustrating for people that are trying to be disciplined and do things. And then it's like, yeah, I was mentioning earlier that it's entirely possible that even people leaving PS Plus, like Dustin got rid of his PS Plus. Many people got rid of their PS Plus in protest of the physical games thing. It's entirely possible that there are more people now on PS Plus than there were before the disc announcement, simply because of Black Ops.
Yeah.
And it's like, damn, dude, if that's the ecosystem you're dealing with, there's almost no way to really hurt them. And so I wanted to note that. But are you interested in going back to these games? Obviously, Black Ops 1, PS3, 2010, the sequel, 2012 on PS3. So these are old games. And they're not, as I understand, Chris, they're not remasters, right?
Yeah,
they're like just ports.
As far as I understand, they're just straight ports, or they're So the thing for me is just like these old Call of Duty games, since it's a port, these old Call of Duty games, as far as I'm aware, have a bit of a hacker problem. And as far as I've seen, it's still a thing. There's more people playing now because it's been officially re-released. So like the likelihood of you running into like somebody who's just been on Black Ops 2 the whole time fucking around with it is a lot lower than it used to be when it was just like this, this dead game. But I don't know if they've done much to really fix or fortify. So I don't know. I'm curious about it because Black Ops is one of those, is like the series where I would always hear that it was good, but I just kind of I never really played Call of Duty for the campaigns, honestly. Like I never gravitated to it. But that was the one where people started saying, it's like, oh, this is actually like, this is where it gets serious. Or where it gets like, this is art. Is how I remember people describing it to me. It's like, okay, like maybe. So I've been thinking about it, but I don't know, man. There's a lot to play. And I also just know I'm not that much of a Call of Duty guy. I like it well enough. I know it's doing well. I don't know. But I am pulled towards it constantly. What I will say is like this old stuff being more successful than the new stuff is not necessarily surprising to me.
There's just such a deep well of nostalgia for these things that people have, especially if you're, I mean, even if you're, my age, but especially your age and younger, because that's a more seminal time for people. You would have been in high school or middle school or wherever you were at the time. Like, I'm not saying Chris, I'm saying people out there listening.
Yeah.
And so I think it's why there's like I always feel like games like Fortnite and Roblox and all these things probably will never go away, just because there's always going to be this cycle.
Yeah. The young people are there,
Yeah.
That's where the young people are. The young people are there. And so if you want to not placate, but if you want to play to the strengths of this market, you have to kind of play for the people who were around for a while. And it seems to be working. I mean, it's not anything new. It's like, dude, like I'm looking at, just out of curiosity, because I was curious. Halo the Master Chief Collection has 6,000, like a 24-hour peak of like 6,153, and Halo Infinite is 2,700. You know what I mean? So it's like, yeah, the older stuff is, there's a case to be made that it is nostalgia, and that is absolutely true. But there is also a case to be made that it's just like, it is also just better.
Yeah, it's good. Yeah, people like it.
It is just objectively, like, I don't think anybody's sitting there being like, oh yeah, the new Black Ops games are way better than the first two. You're 7 entries in on a franchise that's what, like 30 entries in? Like, of course the earlier entries are more lovingly crafted. Duh.
What I remember about those games too, Chris, is that it's just when people dispute this, and I don't know why, because it was obviously true at the time, is like, it was when Treyarch kind of started to get taken seriously. And they weren't taken seriously at first. They were like Infinity Ward's bitch. They would do like all the off cycle games, and then suddenly it switched. And that was what I remember about these games.
Yeah, because World at War, I remember people really liking World at War. That was where zombies first came in, but it was still kind of like that was the B team. They were doing cool stuff, but they were the B team. Infinity Ward was the one, and then it swapped, and then I think it swapped again at some point. I don't know.
Now they're all just working on everything. Now it's like, when you go look, it's like these guys do the single player, and Raven's doing this, and fucking Beanox did this, and High Moon did this, and it's like, all right,
yeah, cool. High Moon's making sure there's no swastikas in the emblem editor. That's their entire job,
dude. I'm seeing some in the the art. Is it the emblems, the things that people make on Call of Duty? I'm like, dude, some of the shit I'm like, oh my god.
It's outrageous. It was crazy that they allowed you to do it back then. It's even crazier now.
I just can't believe people's balls in attaching that to your presence. In other words, you're not playing the game. It's not like the PS2 like modem where you're like going into SOCOM and you're like, all right, I'm this guy on SOCOM. And I count it. It's like, that's your PlayStation Network account. And you have like a fucking SS logo in your, like, I'm pretty sure you should be more careful than that. But I don't know. People don't give a shit.
Yeah, I don't know.
They are $40 each, the games, but I was told they're $20 each if you have PS Plus. That's not so bad.
That's not so bad. It's, I don't know.
If I had more time, I'd go and play them, but I don't have them.
The thing is, they're backwards compatible on Xbox already. And if they're just straight ports, I would probably have to see, like, I might own them on Xbox already, if that's the case. So, like, let me... Black Ops Digital. Yeah. I don't know. Maybe I'll get around to it.
Like, I have this fantasy, because remember I was making fun of myself for it because you just get used to saying the same things over and over again, so you feel like time doesn't pass and therefore things don't become untrue. So there was a time where I played Call of Duty every year.
Right.
And then and including both of those games, in these games. And it stopped like a long time ago. And even after years, I was like, I play Call of Duty. And then it's like, you look back and I'm like, dude, I haven't played like 9 of these at this point. It would be fun to have the time to be able to play all the campaigns from the first Call of Duty, which I love the original Call of Duty. I think the original Call of Duty is dope. And remember they re-released Call of Duty Classic.
Big Red 1?
Well, Big Red 1 was later. That was like an expansion.
Yeah. That's right, Call of Duty Classic. I forgot about that.
They brought it back.
I just picked up for 360. I picked up Call of Duty 2.
Nice.
It's so funny, dude. It has 13 achievements.
Oh, they're all like 100 points or whatever.
It's so quaint. It's like, because it was like, that was like day 1, right?
Yeah, that was a launch game, I want to say, yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, I have some history with Call of Duty. Like, the thing for me was just like, I know the Black Ops, the first 2 Black Ops games are mysterious to me, though. Those are the ones that I would want to, if there were any Call of Duty games that I would want to play, it is these 2. And I would probably not go any further, really. But I'm going to wait. There's a lot that I'm playing right now, and there's a lot to play on the horizon. So I don't really care about multiplayer either.
World at War has always been it's always stalked me from the corners because I can never beat it on veteran. And
a hard game, dude.
That game was insane. It's comical. Like, if people are not familiar with World at War on a veteran, go look it up.
Yeah.
go.
Yeah, you'll have a good time. I really hated that game, dude. I hated it. Like, it made me so mad.
Well, that's why I stopped playing. Like, I used to be a really much more angry gamer. I actually had to tone that down when I became and when I worked at IGN, like, because I'd like slam like my controller and Dagan was crazy. I remember it was like when cords still connect, you still had corded controllers and you would throw the controller like smash, but then it would reset the console because it like jerked it or whatever.
Oh,
and like,
yeah.
I remember, but I remember World at War was one of those games where I'm like, I am getting so mad at this game that I can't. And I just put it down after a while. Couldn't do it.
It's a degree of tilted that's very rare to. That's rarefied air. The degree of anger that I that I felt at World at War. It was World at War, and when I was trying to platinum Crash Team Racing.
Oh yeah,
in that brief window of time where we had that wager. I had a controller on, like, so I had my normal controller, and then I had a second controller that was dead already that I used to just slam on the ground and beat up when I needed to take anger out of something, because I was gonna throw it out anyway. I still have this memory of Kingston walking in while I was curb stomping my, like, literally stomping on my controller out of fury. It's a fond memory. It's good. It's good stuff.
Yeah, that's a man's platinum for sure. Man's platinum.
That fucking sucked.
Chris, a game that might also suck, I don't know. Ratchet and Clank Ranger Rumble. They wrote about this on PlayStation Blog. Now, people will remember that we first talked about this game last November.
Right.
This is a mobile game on both iOS and Android being made by a French studio called OBB. They got to put a little respect on their name. I don't play mobile games. None of us do, I don't think, here. But They do a game called Frag Shooter Pro, which is apparently pretty famous. It has 150 million downloads. So
that's crazy.
So not bad. So they're a studio of some good reputation. The chief executive officer, Stanislaus de Wavrin, wrote on PlayStation blog, "Suit Up Rangers, pre-registration for Ratchet & Clank Ranger Rumble is now open worldwide on the App Store and Google Play. To celebrate, we're launching a community reward campaign headlined by a reward we think Ratchet & Clank fans will especially love, the exclusive Clank Suit skin for Widget. Since the game's reveal a few months ago, we've been testing and refining the experience through regional soft launches in Canada, the Nordics, France, and Asia. After a successful testing phase shaped by player feedback, Ratchet & Clank Ranger Rumble is now gearing up for global launch, and pre-registration is the first step on that journey. We can't wait for what's coming next." They describe the game as this. Ratchet & Clank Ranger Rumble is a free-to-play multiplayer hero shooter that brings the iconic franchise to mobile, developed by OBB in collaboration with PlayStation Studios and Insomniac Games. Captain Quark has created a revolutionary combat simulation to find the next generation of Galactic Rangers, but, well, it's Quark. So once you step into the arena, anything can happen. Players choose from legendary heroes, master unique abilities, and unleash an arsenal of explosive weapons in real-time PvP arena battles, enhanced by dynamic PvE elements that add depth and variety to every match. The hero lineup is something we're especially proud of. With 12 heroes available at launch and more to come, each character brings a new, fresh perspective to the Ratchet and Clank universe. So, I don't know. You can register, by the way, rangerrumble.com, rangerrumble.com, and you can play it on both iOS and Android, like I said earlier. I think the game looks cool. It's not a game for me. My biggest confusion, Chris, it continues to be like, it's what we were saying about the Horizon MMO. You got to put it on PlayStation.
Right.
It's cool. Like, put the game on mobile. I think that's awesome.
Yeah, also have, why wouldn't you also want to bolster the audience of, why not have this? Like, this strikes me as like a perfect XBLA type, you know what I mean? Like, back when the Summer of Arcade was doing these types of things. It's just like, why not have like a multiplayer Ratchet and Clank game that's also available on PlayStation? It's kind of,
I don't understand that. I don't understand that strategy. Right? Like, I don't know. I just don't understand what again, everyone knows I'm aggressive about them going off platform with their games. Like, I think it's a good idea and I want them to try different things. But everything you make has to be on PlayStation. It's the little things. It's like what we were making fun of Aniplex when they were publishing the fucking Danganronpa guy's new game, and it's on Switch. It's like Sony owns Aniplex. Why are you putting it on Switch, but not PlayStation? Like, it's like one hand doesn't know what the other's doing.
Yeah,
and I don't. It's weird. It's weird to me.
It's very silly. It's also just unwise. All of it is confusing. I will say, like, in the middle of scrolling through this, I gotta say, I think I had a minor breakdown, because I was looking at the screenshots and I was like, I feel like I've seen this exact screenshot so many goddamn times. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
I don't know if, like, maybe, like, I mean, you're older than me. Maybe you've experienced this exact thing that I'm going through right now, and you've either gotten used to it or you've gotten over it. But, like, dude, every single one of these screenshots looks like 50 other games that I've seen, and I'm starting to lose my mind.
Yeah, I mean, everything is starting to look exactly. Well, it's not that everything looks the same. It's that there's these different verticals of things that look like something, right? So
right, it's exactly. It's not that this game looks like Fortnite or anything. It's just like this first screenshot of the cutesy character in the middle selection screen, and it's clearly like, oh, this is the menu, and like your character loads in the center. It's just like Fortnite. It's just like Marvel Rivals or whatever. And then there's the screen with all the lasers and all the colors going on. It's like, oh, look at all the chaos. I'm like, oh my god, how much more of this can I take?
Yeah, it's a lot. I will say, when you click on the screens, I'm looking at them. It is a clean art style. It's just a very generic art style. It's cell shaded, it looks like, and
it looks good. Like, I'm not sitting here saying like it looks like shit, but like,
no, but everything looks. It's all, everything's reducing, right? Like to. It's like how they say in 1,000 years, like if we keep all these races around the world keep interbreeding in this globalized world, we'll all just be like kind of this shade of whatever.
Yeah, it's like I remember playing Mass Effect. I remember when I would play Mass Effect, and like in Mass Effect, all the stores have the same exact signage, and like everything's like the same. And it's obviously because it's assets, and it's just like easier to do that. But I remember being like, isn't what the future would look like, and I'm slowly starting to believe that's very possible. Like it's slowly becoming like it's settling, and there's this sinking feeling where it's just like, yeah, okay, we're gonna have the same signage for everything, the same font for everything.
It's funny, man.
Oh, God, I'm losing my mind.
I'd be curious to see how this does. I just feel like buttressing these games with the presence on PlayStation is so obvious that I understand it's complicated, but it's not that complicated. There are games that play between console, PC, and mobile. Like
the biggest games.
Yeah,
too.
like it's like you got to figure that out, man. Like I don't know what they're trying to prove with not doing that. It's like you're not giving these games really a chance by not doing that. I don't know if they're like, yeah, we don't like you didn't play Pokemon Go on your Switch, and I'm like, come on, guys, like
maybe it's they don't. Do they want do they perceive mobile to be a vector into the PSN? I guess
maybe, yeah. I mean, yeah, that's and especially because it's on Google. Yeah, that's possible. Sure, I just feel like.
Still silly. You should really, at this point, you're PlayStation. You're the de facto console manufacturer. If you're too afraid, if that really is the reason, which like I just made that up. Who knows? It could be. But like if that is the reason, and you're so unsure or you're so uncertain of your own ecosystem that you're like you can't put something on mobile and have it cross integrate because you're worried about it being like a massive vector, then like that's kind of a problem in the first place that you should be solving.
Yeah, I agree. And and I also will say, Chris, it is not as egregious as the Horizon MMO thing. Like, to me, it's like you almost want to be like, hey, dumb fucks. You have to put the game on PlayStation. You have to put the MMO, the Horizon MMO has to go on play. Are you fucking crazy? Are you crazy? It is my sincere hope they understand that. Like,
it's actually exclusive to the PSX.
Yeah. It's exclusive to Purple.
That's crazy.
What are you doing?
The Purple launcher. Insane.
I know that they're going to come back and say like this is for the East Asian audience. I understand. Sure. But like it should be for the global audience. And anyway, I think mobile's a good place for Sony to be. I will say the one inorganic acquisition Sony ever made that I liked was Neon Koei. And obviously that blew up in their face.
Yeah, didn't they? Yeah.
Savage Game Groups that were originally called. And that obviously melted down completely. And so it didn't work. But it's like, God, all this money. And you come up with a pretty cute looking Ratchet game that's pretty neat, but no one's there saying to you, guys, it should all circulate around our platform and then we spread out from there. It would be like, it would have been like releasing Lego Horizon only on Switch. It was cool that you put it on Switch. You got to put it on your own console. Dummies.
It is crazy, man.
So I think this thing's going to come and go, unfortunately for them. But I don't think it would have come and gone if it was both good, which it looks good, and generic but good, and it was on PlayStation and available.
And you know what? If you're not going to put it on PlayStation, or you don't care about selling it on PlayStation, put it on PS Plus.
Right.
What's the harm?
Yeah.
I don't know. It's just crazy to me.
I don't know, man. All right. Couple other things to get through here.
Oh, man.
The FlexStrike wireless fight stick has been delayed. Yeah. I don't know what's going on with this.
Yeah, weird.
Unfortunately, so it was supposed to launch August 6th, and it was supposed to be to coincide with Tokon. I think they got they just wrote it too close with the manufacturing because they have an update on the post about this saying, quote, update, I'm saying update 8 million times, but they're writing it this many times. We wanted to share an update on the launch timing for FlexStrike wireless fight stick. Due to unexpected production delays, FlexStrike wireless fight stick will launch at a later date. We will share an update soon. We're working to ensure we deliver the best possible experience to our players with FlexStrike, so we're taking extra time to put the finishing touches on the product. We apologize for this delay and look forward to bringing the FlexStrike experience to the community when it launches. Players who have pre-ordered FlexStrike wireless fight sticks from direct.playstation.com can check their order status through the website and will receive communications regarding their orders. Players who pre-ordered through another retailer should look for updates directly from that retailer or contact them with any questions. This is a weird one just because this date was announced in June. So something has gone wrong very late, and I wonder, man, what it was. There could be something wrong with it. They say again in the second paragraph, quote, "We're working to ensure we deliver the best possible experiences to our players with FlexStrike, so we're taking extra time to put the finishing touches on the product." It's almost as if it came off the line with fucked up or something.
Yeah, that's my read too. Is like there's something catastrophically. There's like a red ring situation going on with this. Like maybe like a button doesn't, like a really key button just doesn't press or something. Although, how do you fix that? The thing with like putting the finishing touches on something is one thing if it's software, right? But like, how do you put the finishing touches on hardware that isn't like it? How should I put this? If something has to be held back for you to put the finishing touches on it, and it's hardware, surely that's not a. It kind of necessitates that that's a trivial thing, right? Because like you can't. They're not rebuilding these.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, it could be like all of these controllers these days require firmware, and so it could be.
Oh yeah, maybe.
Something preparing to launch with that. I don't know.
That is true.
It's also the FlexStrike also works on PC, and it could be that there's a problem with that. But I will say I'm looking at pictures of it. I haven't seen it in a while. I kind of forgot about it. It's very clean. It is a very clean looking thing, and I love the little bag it comes with because it's expensive.
Yeah,
it's nice. $200.
It's a nice bit of kit. The issue though is that like it's so nice, and it's a type of controller that is beat to shit.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like this is like it'd be like making like an Apple punching bag or something, where it's just like this is gonna be scuffed and fucked, like by week 2.
Yeah, the white accenting all over where the face buttons are is interesting. Just in that, ugh. But if you had to choose one or the other, I think you would want it on that side as opposed to where the stick is. You'd have this like circle of goo of fucking dust, of Cheeto dust developing around it. But it does look really nice. But yeah, $200 is not cheap. So
no,
I don't know, my friends. We'll keep an eye on this. I know some of you are looking forward to it. It's too bad that it's not going to meet for Tokon, because that will be a nice question to ask at the Tokon thing if you're going to that thing at San Diego Comic-Con about the fight stick, because I know that they were trying to match that all up, and I am curious to see how Tokon does. It's not far away, dude. It's 20 days out, I think. No,
yeah,
it's close. About 20 days.
It's close as hell.
Yeah.
My suspicion though is that it's not going to matter necessarily. I think people, with respect, like I think if you're the type of person to be interested in a fight stick, you probably already have one.
Right, I would assume so.
So you probably have a fight stick for Tokon. You just probably wanted a new one, and you're not going to get it, and that sucks. But like, it's probably not going to be the biggest deal.
I've heard that playing on controller is, I don't want to say in vogue, but like kind of more people do it now. Because when I was younger and I played fighting games, that was almost nothing. I played on controller, and that was something almost no one did. That was serious that in my circles. But now you see it, and I think some of even the greatest players in the world play on controller now, if I recall. Which is so, and because to me, I always held it. Why I have my PS5 controller here? I would always hold it almost with like a claw, because you want to use all 4 of the triggers in Street Fighter. Like these are like the fierce attacks. So yeah, I don't know. I don't know what.
I don't know.
I don't know what people.
That's interesting.
Do.
Yeah, it's funny to me because it's always struck me as like controllers are like, I mean, this is way better, right? Like to me, I'm a casual. Like I don't play fighting games. Like, but the flat panel with buttons seems so like not ergonomic for video games to me. Where it's just like I just don't understand how this is better for you.
Yeah, I think some of it has to do almost with like a piano. Like when we play with the face buttons, we use our thumbs, so there's only so much you can do, right? But I think the idea of like sequencing buttons together by pressing them,
yeah, that's valid. I mean, like, I used to be fair, like, I can't remember what games. Oh, there was like a Def Jam game or something that I used to play, like, and I would hold the controller like upside down, and it was like, I was pretty good at it. I don't know how I would do it now, and it was more suited to PlayStation controllers.
Yeah, people hold. We've talked about some of those interesting ways people hold their controllers, like the backwards thing. There were people, I think, I read about it a long time ago, so I'm really not up on it, and I doubt it's very common at all, but like there was a dude that like held his NES controller upside down, basically played like totally inverted. That was like in the speedrunning community. It's just a matter of, I guess, what you're into or what you're interested in. But I'm not skilled enough in any game to really have to worry about the finer parts of like control, you know. GTA 5 is kind of exhausting my thumb because you have to hold the stick down to run. So, and then press forward. There seems to be no, I might be missing it because there's a million options in that game, but like click to run, you know what I mean? That's usually an option. And that's like not an option here. So my fucking finger gets
they should really do that. I don't mind a lot of the core Rockstar conceits, like the weighty characters and like the slow animations. I'll take all that, but like give me click to run. Just do it. It's okay, I promise.
Well, that's what you think. All right. Just thought I would talk about this real quick, Chris. It's nothing really here to go on, but V Scooper tweeted out, and I'll get into who this is in a minute. Says exclusive Sony Animation explored in a Horizon. I like how they said N Horizon Zero Dawn animated series. The project remained in development even after the theatrical film plans emerged, though its current status and any connection to the previously announced live action series remains unclear. So I was looking at, I think we've actually brought this person up in the past, but I was looking this person up, V Scooper, and they do have these like weird scoops about the entertainment industry, and they have a thread on their Twitter account of all the things that they've said that have come true. So I was like, okay, it's interesting. It's a nice idea. Yeah. I should do something like that. I wish I wasn't so lazy. I thought this was interesting, Chris, just because it's in my notes here somewhere that I had forgotten about this. There was going to be the Horizon Netflix series, which we had talked about extensively, and then the dude got in trouble, right? That was like running it. He was like the Umbrella Chronicles guy.
Yeah.
So they just pulled the plug on that entirely. Then there was going to be the live action Horizon film. That apparently is going, I guess. So that's what he's saying. It's unclear like how this might interact with it, if at all. But we have, or if it even exists anymore. But we have said that unless you're going to do a very expensive movie, like a live action movie, like really expensive Jurassic Park style shit, like original Jurassic Park style, you can do it with CG now, obviously very well. But I think you got to go with the cartoon on this because it's too much. Like it's a lot, dude. It's all predicated on this really extraordinary shit, and it would be dope for you to do a live action, but you got to do it right, or it's going to look like shit. And so I don't know. Cartoons are kind of an easier, simpler way of doing things. What do you think?
It's a better way. I think animation has always suited video games and a lot of this heightened fantasy a lot more. It's just so funny. It's just like Horizon animated. Is there anything that isn't Horizon that's being made? Like is Horizon's like a real, like Horizon the restaurant,
right?
Like what are we doing? This is crazy, dude.
Order a barrel of Aloy's ale.
Aloy's ale. That's pretty good, actually. That reminds me of like when they used to have like, I remember in like Spencer's Gifts, they would have like those like gaming energy drinks. Did you ever see those? Where it was like the Gears of War had one. It was like emulsion or something.
Oh yeah.
They would come in these like really blank. They were these really blank cans with like just one logo on it, and like and the nutrition facts that were undoubtedly horrid. But I don't know. The favoritism is just funny. It's very funny. I think Horizon would work better though as animated. Like I don't know how you do. Like Jurassic Park is like the budget that you would need to do this in live action in any way that has any hope of hitting, and that's probably way too much. Rest in peace, Sam Neill, by the way.
Yeah, that was very sad. He's awesome. You know, he was. I love Jurassic Park. I think that movie is so. I haven't even seen anything past the third one. I guess
you don't need to.
Jurassic World or whatever they call it or whatever. I remember seeing the third one with my girlfriend in high school, and because I remember really loving the logo, which was like the Raptor Claw 3.
Oh yeah, whatever. It is good.
And I remember thinking that was really neat.
Is that the one? Is that the one where Sam Neill's on the plane and the dinosaur says Alan?
I don't know.
He's having that dream in the plane, and he's like shaking himself awake, and he turns to his right. There's a fucking raptor on the plane, and it goes Alan.
Yeah, wait, I've got Alan's Bad Dream.
Yeah, and he wakes. It's the most.
Yeah,
insane.
It is from Jurassic Park 3. Yeah,
that is a classic. That is one of my favorite things ever put to screen. But Sam Neill, I know from obviously Jurassic Park, but also Event Horizon.
Oh, dude, I love Event Horizon.
It's amazing. There's that missing shot, like there's always the rumors of that like director's cut or whatever that's like all the footage has been like destroyed or it's like been ruined or something.
No, I don't even really know any of the lore around Event Horizon. Yeah.
It was like so gory and so bloody that like the audience was like, we no. I think somebody like fainted or something, and so they were like, all right, we got to cut a lot of this out. But there's this one shot that survived, and it's so cool. It's like Sam Neill like crawling down like face down on a ladder, and he's like all red. He looks like a licker from like Resident Evil, and I'm like, I can't believe that got cut because it's so striking. It's insane.
I saw that theater or I saw that movie in the theaters. I remember, and I can't remember. There was a quote that I used to say from it, but I don't even remember what it is anymore. It's funny, man. I got we talked about them at the time. I got a couple custom suits made over the past few years, and they have these things where it's like, oh, we stitch, like little, you put your initials here and the little thing here, and when the little zipper, you can write a little message, whatever it is. And I had them write Event Horizon on the message.
Oh, that's funny.
As the message on both of those things, because my junk is so large that not even light can escape it.
Right. It's also a portal to hell.
Right. Touche. Chris, I thought this next story was interesting, and I wanted to go into this a little bit with you.
Yeah.
This comes from Automaton Media, which we cite often on this show because they translate Japanese stuff pretty well, that we would otherwise miss from Famitsu or 4Gamer and other places that print good stuff over there. And they write, Koei Tecmo has expanded its workforce from 2,500 to over 3,000 in 2 years, remains committed to target of 5,000. Thought this was fascinating. Yeah. They write, Koei Tecmo president and CEO Hisashi Konuma, who took over from founder Yoichi Arakawa last year, recently spoke to Famitsu about the company's significant upsizing in its past few years. Aiming to increase its number of development lines and broaden its release lineup, Koei Tecmo expanded its workforce from 2,500 to 2,850 people between 2024 and 2025. This year, it has welcomed another 193 new hires domestically, reaching over 3,000 employees. Back in 2024, Koei Tecmo announced a target of growing to a workforce of 5,000 as part of its midterm strategy. And according to Koinuma, the company remains committed to this even now, with hiring planned to continue at a steady pace alongside internal training meant to cultivate talent. Currently, game development at Koei Tecmo operates through 6 distinct brands, most notably Team Ninja, Omega Force, and Gust, plus one studio, the recently launched AAA studio that they haven't really talked about yet. The company is looking to establish an infrastructure where each of these divisions can produce a steady stream of new releases. Additionally, Konuma says he is invested in launching new brands, this is what I want to talk to you about, that would allow the company to try different things with its games, given that existing brands already have loyal fan bases who expect specific IP and genres from them. While Konuma says the direction of potential future brands is still a secret, he asks fans to look forward to future developments. Another noteworthy point is Koei Tecmo's move to handle global publishing of its games in-house as much as possible. According to Konuma, this is what led the company to self-publish Neo 3, whose predecessors were both being published through partnerships with Sony. This brought clear advantages like the possibility to release simultaneously on PC, with the game becoming the fastest-selling entry in the series. While there are bound to be some expectations in situations where partnerships are more beneficial, Konuma thinks that, in principle, Koei Tecmo needs to build a structure where it can handle everything on its own, in quotes. Now, the big thing I wanted to ask you about, neither of us interact a huge amount with Koei Tecmo. They don't have these brands that speak to me specifically, sure, with rare exception, but they speak to a lot of people. And I was wondering, what do you think a Koei Tecmo does with 5,000 people? Here are the major IP they own. This is according to Wikipedia, so I might be missing some. Atelier, so that's Gust's series. Dead or Alive, the fighting series, which is Team Ninja. Dynasty Warriors, which is Omega Force. Then they own Fatal Frame. They write Kessen as one of them, which I think is so funny because Kessen is like not a, like, they're a sequel. That? There are 3 Kessens, I think. I don't think.
I think I've ever heard of Kessen.
Kessen was a PS2 launch game. Here, I can put it in the chat for you.
Yeah, I'm looking at it now.
Monster Rancher, which I think has been dormant for a while. Ninja Gaiden, which is another Team Ninja thing. Neo, which is Team Ninja. Nobunaga's Ambition, which is kind of a nerdy series of turn-based like grand strategy games. They have the One Piece license, but that's a license, so I wouldn't really count that. Romance of the Three Kingdoms, and then Samurai Warriors, which is adjacent to Dynasty Warriors, and Tokaiden, which is like a Monster Hunter clone. So the thing I'm looking at, it's like, I'm curious what they're going to do with all these people, because none of these series, like unfortunately, the new Ninja Gaiden game kind of seemed like it bombed. I think people liked it, but you don't hear anything about how it sold or how it did.
Yeah, was that a Game Pass game also?
Yeah, it was. So we'll never really know exactly what would have happened with that.
Yeah.
Neo does really well. And he's right. Like Neo 3, it was pretty huge for them. And they did publish it themselves. And I do like them taking control of their publishing pipeline. The one thing that I'm confused about, though, especially with Omega Force, is they license so many things. And you can't really self-publish that. Like, for instance, if they're going to make like another Zelda Musou game, Nintendo's going to publish that. So you're going to have like some sort of, I guess, understanding internally that you're not going to be able to do everything yourself. Now, the big thing, and I did forget about this, is that, and they remind us in this Automaton story, Chris, is that they did launch a new team. And like, what could they do? Like, because through the Koei Connect, Tecmo and Koei used to be separate companies, as I think everyone understands. Koei used to do this like very historical, nerdy shit. That's where Dynasty Warriors, Nobunaga's Ambition, Samurai Warriors, all that shit comes from. And then Tecmo was a much more traditional video game company. That's where Ninja Gaiden, Dead or Alive, and so on comes from.
Right.
I wonder, like, wouldn't it be cool if they did a shooter or something?
That's exactly what I was thinking.
Yeah.
Where I'm just like, you got to branch out a little bit, right? I don't know what else there is for them to do outside of something like that. But I also don't know, dude, it's so weird to see like, oh, we're going to increase our workforce. It seems so alien when we look at it compared to, you know, the industry as it stands here.
The Japanese publishers are doing great, dude.
Yeah. Like I mean, it makes sense.
They're selling on global markets and their market, you know, it's so cheap to be there that they can do well because they're inherently international. So I think that, yeah, I'm happy for them. Like all of them, Bandai Namco, Square, everyone. Well, Square a little less, but
yeah. I don't know though. Like I would imagine though, like if they're trying to increase if they're trying to grow that much, then they have to branch out of what they've been doing. And I think shooters are probably that. But at the same time, it's just like I don't know. Like again, like just like you, I just don't interact with a lot of these IP. So like I know that they're building new stuff or they're trying to build some new stuff off the ground. That could be a start, you know?
One thing I really respect, Chris, about this approach, they note this, is that the reason that they want to expand too is to not ask their teams to do things that their fans don't want them to do. And that's pretty powerful. And I went back and read here. There's a story in Automaton. I'll put it in the chat so you can see it. There we go. It says Koei Tecmo's new AAA studio. This is from June of last year, so about a year ago. Koei Tecmo's new AAA studio is a way for it to try new things without disappointing Team Ninja and Omega Force fans. And they basically write about how, like, we don't want. They write here, and this is from a Famitsu interview with an executive there as well. Quote, I believe that's because each team simply kept creating the kind of games they naturally excel at. Their consistent output built that brand identity over time. So this is something that I think others can learn from a little bit. Although it's easy for Koei Tecmo to maybe do that and a little harder for hardware manufacturers. But
probably
I'll be very excited to see what they do. I want them to keep their Japanese flavor. But or their Asian flavor, because not all their games are Japanese. They are Japanese, but a lot of the stuff that they're doing, Nobunaga's Ambition and all that stuff is I think Chinese. Anyway, all right. So we'll keep an eye on what's going on with them, but it's cool to see them expand, and it's cool also. I don't report on it too much anymore, but it's cool to see all of these brands. These much more Japanese companies are much more structured in their pay structures and how people make money there, and their constant announcements of everyone getting these across the board raises is. Oh, this reminds me, Chris. Nintendo released a report the other day, and I was reading it just for fun, as I sometimes do. Miyamoto makes $1.5 million every year. They are ripping him off to such a fucking degree. I can you imagine? He has been there since before I was born.
Yeah,
and he's at $1.5 million. That's how much he's making. And I look at that and I'm like, oh my God. Oh my God. Like their president, I think, makes 2 million or something. I'm like, sure. I don't know about I don't care about your executives really. He is I just can't believe that. Like, I think some people are being like, what's the big deal? I'm like, someone like that would be making $10 million or more at this point, I would assume, even at a Japanese company. I just feel like they're ripping him off, I guess is what I'm saying. And they've ripped him off his entire life.
Maybe. I don't know. That's I don't know. It's hard for me to look at a guy making $1 million a year and be like, oh no.
Think about that though. I mean,
I understand that he's him.
It's just like, but I mean, value. It's like the value derived. It's like, that's the most capitalistic shit I ever heard in my life. I mean, I guess is what I'm saying. Like billions of dollars he has created for them. And he's according to this, he's made less than $100 million from them. And I think that's fucking crazy. I'm sorry. I think that's just absolutely insane. But remember, Chris, we talked about this some time ago. He did say, people have asked him about this before. About like, you don't get paid shit, basically. Like you could have gone and worked for Activision. They would have probably paid you $20 million a year or something, you know?
Sure. Yeah.
And he had said something like, not every company lets you go see movies during the day and like just be a child and like dick around. I'm like, I think a lot of companies will let you do anything you want, Miyamoto, but nonetheless, I understand your point. And that there's kind of a symbiosis. It's just kind of sad to see one man worth so much get so little. We were talking earlier about like athletes. Like there are pro athletes. Like there are NFL quarterbacks this year that will play one season and make more money than Miyamoto's ever made.
Yeah, that's insane. That is crazy.
That bothers me. Yeah. If he doesn't care, what do I care?
Yeah.
They are a very fiscally responsible company. We'll give them that. I mean, because a lot of these things are symbolic. I remember when Owada took like a pay cut. I think he took a 50% pay cut, and I'm like, it's completely irrelevant. But it's the way they roll.
It builds goodwill,
right?
And it builds good morale to do these things, which is like we've long not cared about morale in this country. It's crazy.
No, we have no morale.
Like we just don't give a shit about the common good of just like a good gesture. It's all over.
The beatings will continue until morale improves.
Right.
We had a sign or something, like, I don't know if it was in my kitchen or I don't remember, like when I was a kid. I remember seeing that statement. Like that's an old thing people would say. I don't know if it's Twain or something that said that, Mark Twain, something like that. But I'm like, I'm like, what the fuck does that mean? I didn't like understand the sarcasm, behind it.
Right.
I was like, what does that mean?
What are you saying?
What do you mean by that? Very mysterious. Okay. Chris, this one's for you. Halo Campaign Evolved, which comes out very soon, has gone gold. And in fact, people are already playing it. I mean, many people have released screenshots of them playing it on PlayStation. I think the surreality of it for a lot of people is finally hitting. So the game's gold. Early access begins July 23rd. As I recall, early access is $30. If it was $20, I would do it. I'm not paying $30 for that though, but I will buy it when it comes out for sure. Are you in on Halo? Are you looking forward to it? Are you excited? There's a lot of trepidation around this game, it feels like, but I think it looks fun. But I'm not a Halo like guy like you, so I don't have the eye for it.
Yeah, I mean, I think it looks reasonably good. I don't think there's anything in it that I think is particularly upsetting. Like it's clearly their way to do a Halo game on Unreal and get a feel for the tech and flex a bit. But that's exactly what the last Combat Evolved anniversary was for them too. It's just like, oh, we're a new studio, we've been handed this IP, let's tinker around with Combat Evolved. So it's not as exciting to me just because I've seen I've been through this exact cycle before. This is more of a top to bottom remake than Combat Evolved Anniversary was, obviously. So they're doing some stuff that's interesting. I think it looks reasonably good. I think they've added a reasonable number of features. The 4-player co-op is nice. I think it looks good. It's a game I've played already like a million times. And it's also, of those original games, probably my least favorite of them. So there's like a ceiling to my excitement. Now, reasonably speaking, this could be, because this is my least favorite of those original run of games, there's a potential that this ends up improving the original game for me, which is Also exciting and interesting. But I just know so much about the original Combat Evolved, and I know what was cut, and I know like what they wanted in and couldn't get in, and what, you know, freelance modders have over the years ended up basically cobbling together an original director's cut of Combat Evolved with like wildlife and shit and all the stuff that couldn't make it in. And I just know that that's not what this is, which is a bummer, because I actually feel like there could have been as much of a, let's be real, cash grab as this is. It's cool to have it on PlayStation. But this is reinvesting in something that works to avoid risk and to play it a little bit safe. It bums me out because there's just so much ambition that could be attached to this in bringing a lot of that cut material in that I don't know if it's there or not. You know what I mean? Like, it could be that I play the game and it ends up being like, oh my God, they added in the blind wolves that they cut from like the original Combat Evolved. That's awesome. Or like, oh, they added this section that they cut from this level. That would be awesome. I just don't know if I believe that 343 has the ambition to even do that. I know they're not 343 anymore, Halo Studios, whatever.
Right.
So I'm just kind of cautiously optimistic. I will play it. I do want to get a Halo Platinum. That is like appealing to me.
Yeah, we went over the trophy list. Remember, it's going to be pretty tough, I think. But I think you can do it.
It'll be tough. It'll be tough. Like Lasso is going to be the bitch. But yeah, so from that perspective, I'm looking forward to it. I'm not going to pay an extra amount of money for early access to it, but I'll play it and I'll judge it for what it is. It could surprise me, you know. But right now, I'm just kind of like, I've played this before. I'll probably like it. I don't think it's going to be anything less than pretty good, you know.
Yeah, I think you're right. And I wanted to check myself, by the way. I went and looked. It's actually $50 for the standard edition and $70, so $20 increase, not $30. I was wrong about that. For 5 days early access, and you get some like digital story and art collection stuff or whatever. I still don't think I'm going to get it. So July 23rd early access, July 28th for normal access. I think I'll probably just wait. I'll see where I am at that time and calibrate from there. I'm definitely going to buy it though. And Chris, I'll say this. We only have so much power as consumers. We've learned that in different painful ways recently. I will say, if you want more Halo on PlayStation, this was a given, and I don't think it is anymore. And so you're going to want to show up for this one, I think. Not only for the novelty of it, but maybe to send them a signal that you might not want to pull the future ones from here. Because they did say all future Halo games are coming to PlayStation. This was supposed to be the beginning. That was obviously true for Gears as well. They've changed with Gears. Halo might be a little more painful for them to do because it's going to sell much better than Gears. But I just, even if this is all we get, fucking weird. So I'm definitely gonna be playing it. I can't wait to see the PlayStation button prompts in it. It's gonna be very strange.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. The novelty alone, I think, is worth checking it out. And it's a $50 game it's a $50 version of a very classic game it is my least favorite of those games, but it is very good. Halo Combat Evolved is a stunning game in a lot of ways. So I'm looking forward to it.
All right, let's see. Another game has gone gold recently, Christopher. Much earlier this time. So Halo went gold right before it comes out, but Dawnwalker, Blood of Dawnwalker is gold. This game doesn't come out until early September. September 3rd, I want to say. Is it September 3rd? Let me see. Yeah, September 3rd. So they're going live about 7-8 weeks early, something like that, which is a great sign. I'm a little less excited about this game. Mike and I were talking about this where on our nightly walk. We saw it at the Game Awards, and it's like this modern kind of thing. But I'm just trying to stay in the mode of like whatever. I want to. This game looks cool, and I'm really, really looking forward to playing it. And so going gold this early gives them a lot of time to massage it. And for disc players, you're going to get probably a pretty good version of it on the disc, I assume, because they don't really have to rush. And so I'm ready to go, man. I'm ready to go. I was very happy to see this. I think that's a great sign for the game.
When is this out? This is out in
early September.
Yeah. I'm looking a lot more forward to it. I saw the impressions were fairly good, and I skimmed a video. I didn't have any sound on. I just kind of skimmed through it and just to get a feel for it. And it does look really cool. I might check this out if early September ends up being a reasonable time. It's late September is going to be rough.
Let's see here. So, yeah, oh my God, it's going to be horrible. I mean, it's going to be great, but it's going to be horrible. Especially with Onimusha moving up. Makes that early part of the month more complicated, very bold. I'm sure if I was Blood of Dawnwalker, I would be a little annoyed by that. But, and again, I find it so funny. Capcom moves their game up twice in a year. They're feeling themselves right now. They really are. All right. New PS Plus games for the game catalog have been announced. So if you're at the PlayStation Plus, if you haven't canceled your subscription and you're at the extra tier or the premium tier, you get access to the game catalog, which is a Game Pass style thing. Fewer new releases, no new releases for PlayStation, but nice third-party collection of games for you to check out if you're interested. I don't have it. I have PlayStation Plus Essential, but you have extra, right? And I know Dustin did. I think he canceled his.
I think I don't even know anymore what the fuck I have. Because I usually get the years because I don't like thinking about it. I don't.
Oh yeah, I do that too, and it's more affordable.
Yeah, it's just more. It just ends up being a little bit better for me. So I think I might have extra. I know I have one of the high. I don't have the basic one, but
let's see here. All right, so these are the games that are coming into the PlayStation Plus extra catalog. On July 21st, Avatar: Frontiers of Pandora joins. I bought this game and played it very briefly. This is a massive developed game, which is interesting. I think it kind of quietly did okay, and it's supposed to be pretty good, but I just wasn't. I was like, I don't really want to play this. It's the same thing that happened when I bought the Guardians of the Galaxy.
Oh,
and I was like, I don't want to play this. But I heard it's good, and I'm sure it is. I just wasn't into it. So that's coming July 21st. Rise of the Ronin is available now already. This is a second-party game. Speaking of Koei Tecmo, and this is a Team Ninja game, of course. Mm-hmm. I bought this game and was interested in it. I couldn't even get past the first boss, as you might recall.
I do remember that.
And I was like, yeah, I don't think this game's for me. Firefighter Simulator Ignite is available July 21st. This looks like, your classic simulation game. And it's so funny because you were talking about Power Wash Simulator, how much I love that game earlier. It's not even the highest quality game. It's just really good. Some of these games are like really high quality and some of them are garbage. And I don't know, like you can't tell by the description or the art. You have to just go and look. Like some people have recommended like a few crime scene cleaning games that are supposed to be pretty good and whatever. So anyway, Firefighting Simulator Ignites out there if you want that. Mighty Morphin Power Rangers Rita's Rewind is available. This is a brawler, people might recall. And that's available on the 28th of July. The original Dying Light will be available. I highly, 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 highly recommend this game. If you've not played this game, it's excellent. The original Dying Light is fucking awesome. And shout out to that game. What a wonderful game it was. That's available July 28th. Citizen Sleeper 2 Starward Vector is available July 28th as well. This is a role-playing game. Snow Bros Wonderland. It's so funny, man. Like when you're a kid, I don't know if you did this. I did this. I would like go into Nintendo Power or whatever and just take out random like things that I thought were cool and put them on my wall. And I had
I did the same.
Yeah, and I had a Snow Brothers ad like from Capcom for like the NES on my wall for some reason. But
did you just tape it to your wall?
Yeah, I just like taped it to my wall. I thought it was cool.
Yeah, I used to do this. I would cut shit out of magazines and I would tape it, and it was it looked terrible because magazine pages are really like shiny. Mm-hmm. They're really reflective. And so like it just looks like a massive just white shit all over your wall, especially with the tape too. That's so funny.
Yeah, like and then my dad would get mad at me for using tape because it would pull the paint off the wall. I was such I wasn't even being an asshole. It's just like you just didn't care. It's like you're not supposed to. I'm like, yeah, whatever. Like what do I care about the fucking paint on the wall? And now as an adult, I would like fucking cry if that happened to my wall. It's like the magic eraser, and I'd be like,
Yeah, exactly. It's like using it's like just using any pair of scissors to cut something.
Right.
It's like whatever, this cuts. And your parents would be like, "No, this is the meat scissor."
Yeah, oh my God, they'd be so upset. But you understand them more as you get older.
Yeah, sometimes a little bit.
Right, sometimes
there's still some things where I was like, you made a big stink out of this.
All right, let's see. All right, finally. Excuse me. for PlayStation Plus Premium. So this is only the premium tier. These games will be available a la carte as well, but you can get these as part of your game catalog if you're at the premium tier, part of your subscription costs. We already knew this was coming. PsyOps: The Mindgate Conspiracy, the old Midway game from 2004. The shooter is third-person shooter is coming, and that's coming July 21st. And then this is a surprise. This is a game no one knew was coming, and I thought this was an interesting one. Indigo Prophecy, or what is known in Europe as Fahrenheit. This is the original Quantic Dream game. And this is coming to PS4 only, interestingly. And here in the notes, it says that it originally stated it was coming to PS5 as well. It doesn't really matter, but there's no native PS5 version of it. So I don't know. Quantic Dream's in some financial trouble. And I wonder if they're, I mean, I don't want to say that outright. They obviously are. They're laying people off. Their newest game just failed. The Spellcaster game, or whatever the hell it was called. And there's all this hullabaloo around how that their Star Wars game's in trouble, although they say it's not. I wonder if they're just trying to get some sort of income going in some way. I mean, I can't imagine Indigo Prophecy joining the fucking premium catalog as big boku bucks, but I've never played it, so I would like to play it. I think Quantic Dream is dope. Or they were. I don't know if they are anymore. Heavy Rain and Detroit specifically are really good games. Like really, really good game.
Yeah. Indigo Prophecy is one that I've been curious about for a very, very long time. So that's definitely a pickup. PsyOps: The Mindgate Conspiracy is another one where people talk about it. It's so funny. Like, this name is so crazy. This name has Intergalactic the Heretic Prophet kind of energy.
Yeah, it definitely does.
It's so many words.
It's a lot of it's a lot of words.
But that looks cool. Dying Light's a pretty obvious. I didn't love the original Dying Light, but I also it probably was one of those things where it's just like I probably just wasn't into it at the time. I'm sure I'd probably like it.
It really felt revolutionary to me in a way almost like Fallout 3 did, where it was like the first time you were in an open world where you really could like really move through it. And
the parkour, I remember just feeling like, oh, this is like Mirror's Edge and Zombies. This is cool. Mm-hmm. But like for whatever reason, it just didn't. I think I was playing other things at the time or something like that. And Avatar, I am kind of curious about because I've been in the mood lately for a Far Cry game, but I don't really want to play Far Cry. Like, I don't know how to explain it. Like, I want like a sandboxy kind of thing. I just don't care about Avatar is the problem.
Yeah, that's what kind of turned me off from it too, is that I started playing it and I love Massive because I love The Division, and I'm just like, I'm not compelled by this at all. The blue fucking characters and the fucking weird flora, and I'm like, I don't want to play this. But to each their own. I mean, I'm not, what do I care? Do what you want. It is supposed to be good. I mean, so you should go play. If you do play it, and you probably can get it for pretty cheap, I would assume. Actually, there is a logo here too. It's on Ubisoft Plus. I mean, you could just get Ubisoft Plus and play it if you wanted. It's probably like $10 or something.
Yeah.
If you want another subscription.
Yeah, Lord knows we all need another one.
Yeah, please help me out with that. I want the Indigo Prophecy trophies will be interesting too. I might. That would be an interesting stream game to play, especially because it's going to be janky as fuck. That shit. Yeah. You know that Indigo Prophecy is going to control like absolute ass. I'm telling you, there's no way it doesn't.
There's no shot it doesn't. That's awesome.
Oh yeah, you know what? It isn't there. I was looking this up. They did do a game before that, Nomad Soul. So it isn't really their original game.
Oh, isn't that the one with David Bowie?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I think it's a little. It is an adventure game, but I think it's a little different. Like I think Indigo Prophecy is where David Cage started becoming David Cage. And I think it's the game that caught the attention of Sony, which is kind of right. And that's how they began their relationship. In a different world, that would have worked out differently, man. I think Beyond kind of hurt them a little bit, and then I think by the time Detroit came out, I just think everyone was kind of over it. Although I think Detroit's great.
Yeah. I've always been curious about this game, though. Indigo Prophecy's always been in like the peripheral for me. I'm just like, maybe I'll get around to it. Now it'll be easy. This game and what is the other one? Deadly Premonition is the other one.
Deadly Premonitions. I never beat it, but I did play it when it came to PS3. That game is fucking weird. I mean, it's like Twin Peaks. It's like a weird kind of thing. Yeah.
I got into Twin Peaks sort of like, recently was in the last couple of years. And so like that game's been more on my mind lately for some reason. I'll get around to it. So much to play. Goddamn.
And then I just wanted to acknowledge a couple of oops, I forgot to put this in the timestamps. Sorry about that, Lockmort. I just wanted to acknowledge 2 sales milestones that I thought were fun. One is that Mouse PI for Hire, wonderful game, has surpassed 1 million copies sold. And I want to congratulate them for that. That's awesome. If you have not played Mouse, man, it is really good. It really, really is a special game. Even if you're not into boomer shooters particularly, but you like shooters, if you're not into shooters, you shouldn't play it. But if you look at most boomer shooters and you're like, I don't, if you look like Proteus and shit like that and like Ion Fury and like you weren't in any of that, cool. I love those games. I understand if you're not into those games. This game is a special boomer shooter. And it is a boomer shooter, but it's more than that. You'll see. Yeah. Oh, it's so good. It's so good, dude. So congratulations to those guys. Really well earned. And I thought this was interesting too. Assassin's Creed Black Flag Resynced sold 2 million copies in one day. What do you think of that?
I believe it because I was thinking about it. I'm not an Assassin's Creed guy really. I stopped with like Brotherhood. You know what I mean? Like I was early. Like I liked Assassin's Creed when I remember playing, and I remember it's so funny when you look back at Assassin's Creed because I remember thinking like, wow, what is this? This is amazing. It was also boring, and I kind of knew that, but I was also like, this is amazing. There was something about it. And then Assassin's Creed 2 was great. I loved Brotherhood quite a bit. And then Revelations came out, and I was like, I don't know if I care to get Revelations. And then 3 came out, and I was like, oh, American Colonial West? Oh, this was kind of disappointing. Like the execution of it. And then for 4, I was just kind of like, I guess I'm not into this. And so I just never really got into, I think I played like the first couple minutes of 4 Black Flag. And I was like, I think I'm out. And that was really it until Shadows, I think, literally in the last couple of years. So like I've been gone. I mean, I've dabbled here and there, like whenever it would come into like PS Plus or something. Like I would dabble with Origins, and I was just like, But I was looking at like this game was all over my feed in a way that like Assassin's Creed never is. Like in a positive way. Like people were like playing it, and like there's some negative stuff too. Obviously, I saw one video, some guy throwing somebody in a pool of water, and it didn't make a splash, and it's like, all right, it's okay. But yeah, I was vaguely compelled to pick this up. Like there's a point where I was almost going to do it, and then I couldn't find my wallet because my card isn't in the isn't in the PlayStation right now because I'm a little worried. And then I was like, I'm too lazy to find my wallet, so I'm not going to get it. But that was the only reason I didn't.
Ubisoft needs a hit, dude. I mean,
they do.
I mean, Assassin's Creed Shadow did well, but and it does seem like Assassin's Creed will be fine, but there's a well of nostalgia for this game too. This is what we were talking about. Like this is of the same era. It's right after Black Ops 2, so it's a similar.
It's the tail end of that,
right? Similar
that era.
Well of nostalgia for people.
Where you can imagine that game's probably like, I mean, how long is that game? Probably not insanely long. Assassin's Creed, Black Flag. I know Assassin's Creed even back then were kind of long.
Yeah, what is it, like 25 hours or something? Maybe. I mean, they're not like they are now.
No, but it's like a reasonable amount of time. So it's just like, I mean, I looked at it and I was like, yeah, maybe. I'm kind of in the mood for this, but like I also don't know. Assassin's Creed Black Flag game length. I am curious.
Yeah, what does it say?
Yeah, 20 to 25 hours.
Yeah, that sounds about right. I mean, or
like way longer for completion, but like,
right. God forbid they make games like that anymore. God damn. I mean, that's what I didn't put it in the news, but that's what I Glenn Schofield retiring. Yeah. And I was I was lamenting recently. I know you and I feel the same way about it, but it's like the stuff with Dead Space. It's so perfect. And it's crazy to me that he kind of went out trying to get access to it. And it's like, what, especially with this new EA, like we were talking about earlier, it's like, what are you doing? What are you doing? And I am disappointed more people didn't come out for Dead Space Remake because it was fucking awesome. I mean, straight up, it was fucking awesome. And we blew it, dude. We blew it. Everyone blew it. Like we could have had remakes of 2 and 3 and going into a new game. And again, I don't want to spoil too much, but they were kind of changing Dead Space a little bit. With like, it was almost like it wasn't quite Final Fantasy VII or anywhere close to it, but it was a little bit of that.
No.
It was a little bit of that. And I was like, God damn. Dead Space is still my favorite survival horror game ever.
I agree. I think for sure. Like, dude, it is crazy. It's criminal how good Dead Space remake is. It's so easily my favorite of that genre of, like, because I know that it came out alongside, or maybe not alongside, but in the general vicinity of RE4, right? If I'm not mistaken.
Yes.
RE4 remake.
Yes, that's right. I think the winter before or something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, they were relatively close. They weren't like on top of each other or anything, but like, I get it. And then the Callisto Protocol was there too, but like, I mean, I don't know, man. I get Resident Evil 4. I love Resident Evil 4. I think it's great. I think the remake is fantastic too. I quite liked it. But Dead Space remake is something else, dude. It is so good. If you haven't played it, I think we both highly recommend it, especially for like whatever you can get it for now. It's probably an absurd value for what you can get it for now. It's like one of the few remakes I think like genuinely like makes the first game kind of redundant. Like, I don't think there's really much reason to play the original Dead Space now. Like with that remake.
Yeah,
it literally is just the first one, but like everything is better.
I agree.
In my opinion, I guess that is subjective.
I last replayed the original Dead Space in 2020, and it's still held up, but there's no comparison. And it just bothers me that the lack of vision for EA. I understand Dead Space probably was a little softer than they wanted it to do. It's a remake of a game people have already played. I just think if you can't make survival horror work in this era, that's a you problem. I think you need to open your fucking eyeballs, not only to what Capcom is doing. I mean, that speaks for itself, but there's survival horror shit everywhere. Like, people love it. Like, if you can't figure that out, and then you have the original producer of the game and like the creative force behind the game coming to you and saying like, let us make another one, like, let us do it again. And you're like, nah, we don't want it. We don't think we can make any money on it. I'm like, you guys are so fucking stupid. Like, I just, if anyone can make it work, it would have been him. And it sucks to see him go out on that note. But I think he's just kind of tired. He has a lot of money. I mean, he has, I mean, people forget he was on Call of Duty before any of the Dead Space stuff. So he made a lot of money. Or actually it was afterwards, but he made at Sledgehammer but he made a lot of money. Like, he's good.
Yeah, he's good.
So I understand it from that perspective, but it's just a disappointment. And I thought the Callisto Protocol was cool, but it just wasn't what it needed to be.
Yeah, it was entirely fine.
Yeah, it was.
But
cool.
It was too expensive.
Yeah, way too.
That's the issue. It's just like there's no reason that game should have cost that much, but not in price, but in like development.
All right, Chris, it's time to get into what we're playing. Chowderhead Cough Talking wrote in and said, good morning and afternoon, Colin. Please tell us about the games you play and how you feel about them in depth. There is never a need to just quickly get through them and get to Chris or Dustin faster. It always confuses me why you do that. I promise you the majority of the Sacred audience is interested in your thoughts regarding the video games you play. I hope you aren't just saving it for Summon Sign. Far more people listen to Sacred. If you are concerned about the podcast going long, just mention working out or going in the pool 20% less. Or stop asking Chris if he is going to eat or buy food. Thank you for your time. Thank you for writing in. I don't skip it for any. I'm not really super time sensitive, obviously, but it's more that I just feel like sometimes I play games and I don't really have anything to say about them. So I'm not saving anything for Summon Sign. I prepare much more deeply to talk about the games I play for Summon Sign. So I'm ready to go. That's like that's what this show is not really about that for me. And it's one of the, I don't want to say it's one of the least enjoyable parts of like covering games for me, but because I like talking about the games I play, but it's like, it's not what I really do this show for. So I don't want to find like a million different things of minutia to say for a half an hour about the games I'm playing all the time. Sometimes I have a lot. I want to be natural about it. If I have something to say about it, I want to say it. If I don't, if I'm just playing a game, I want to tell you about it a little bit. Give me the space to do that.
Yeah.
By the way, I've been meaning to say this. Some people have thought, and I think reasonably so, that I've become a little more aggro recently. Right. That I'm getting a little rougher. I have to say that like, I take that on board. I think I've always lived on this thin line of like, I like being a little bit of the heel, not really, but also just like being very sarcastic, very biting and whatever. Um, but I think that if it's coming off as me being genuinely upset too often, which I'm really not, then there's something obviously off about that. And I don't want to. I wouldn't use this as an excuse because it's a total cop out. I'm responsible for my own behavior and my own actions. Me, like I'm nothing else. No one else is responsible for it but me. But I think as I unwind from my medication, I am starting to interface with the real world more than I had in years. And I'm not saying that like I was like delusional and out of my mind. I was anyone in my life would tell you that like I calmed down a lot. And a lot of that was medication. I am a more talkative, confrontational, like those kinds of things, not in a bad way, but like about like, having a good argument, having like saying your piece, doing those kinds of things. And so I ask for everyone's continued patience as I try to continue to find my new calibration. Because I think some of it probably has something to do with that. Like I will say, and Mike is very worried about this, but like I don't sleep very well anymore at all.
Oh.
Like, I just find it really important for me to unwind. And it's not like I was like on a crazy amount of things, but I was on a lot of, I took Ativan for a long time. I was on really high doses of Lexapro and all the rest. And so I just want to, in the case of, just to be honest with everyone and candid with everyone, I'm feeling different and I'm trying to find my new calibration. And I never want to come off as like too heated or too anything. It's not my intention. It really isn't. It's not who I am, but I am more of a talkative New Yorker in a way, that I think is kind of compartmentalized by the need to find more sanity in years past. So anyway, I wanted to acknowledge that out there, that I'm not trying to ever do anything to agitate, and I appreciate everyone's patience. And really, I would like to be able to sleep more, but I just have a hard time sleeping. And that's the thing, is that like everyone's got to be on the things they want to be on and do what they got to do and take care of themselves. I think it's really important for you to take care of yourself. Therapy and self-care and all that, I think is really important. For me, I find it really important to I want to know what natural is again. And that's what I'm trying to get to. But it's been difficult at times. I will say this, from a physical point of view, I don't think I've ever been healthier. I'm gonna die tomorrow probably. I'm gonna have like a fucking like I don't know like what it is. Like I've lost weight and like I've worked out for many years, but I feel good. Like I feel like there's part of it is like I feel better. I feel like I'm in it and I'm enjoying myself more, and I'm getting away from the screens and I'm getting outside and I'm doing things and enjoying myself and getting sun. And
you got to let that have more influence.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You got to like succumb to the influence of that feeling, so that it kind of like overtakes everything else.
Yeah. Yeah. So anyway, I don't even know how I got into that, but it was Shatterhead Cough talking about busting my balls here a little bit, and so I wanted to just say that. Wanted to put that out there. All right, as far as the games that I'm playing, Grand Theft Auto 5 still, and then GTA Online. So I actually went online and went through the process of making my character and like doing and I've played it for probably several hours, but I'm not really entirely sure what's special about it yet, because I don't think that Mike has been watching me play it. She played it back on Xbox 360 and Xbox One. And she's like, it's totally different now. She's like, I don't even know what this is. I was like, dude, like you pick like a profession now, which apparently is not even really a thing that existed at that time. So like I'm a nightclub owner. And because I chose nightclub owner, Gay Tony's in the game.
Oh, interesting.
He's like one of the main characters in the game, which is kind of cool. Tons of dialogue and like, and you could you could be like a business magnate, you could be like a gun runner and shit like that. It's all these cool things. But and I've played for several hours. One of the frustrating things about it to me is that and I think this is reasonable if you look at the trophies. It's like kind of like Call of Duty. Some people just don't play the camp, or many people just go right into the online mode and never play. So they treat you like you've never played Grand Theft Auto before. And I'm like, no, you don't understand. I've played Grand Theft Auto. I don't need. It's like, drive here, pick this person up. Here's how you do it. And I'm like, oh my god, like it does go on and on and on.
Yeah.
So I wasted a lot of time with that, but I want to mess around with it more. And one of the cool things I realized is I don't know how long this has been a thing. Again, I'm playing on PS5, but once you know how you have that command where you can go to any of the characters, like the 3 characters. Once you have your online character, there's a 4th character that appears, and you can just go to that character and just go online and then back offline and then online and offline like pretty seamlessly. It's pretty cool.
Oh, wow. That's interesting.
Yeah,
I didn't know that was a thing at all.
So it's like it's funny, man. Like they just released a new heist package. It's just funny how this really antiquated PS3 game is still played, and how it kind of playing it online. It's funny, like they've cleaned it up. Like there's the single player version of the game that you can't really fuck with probably from a design perspective because all the pathfinding's done and like everything is exactly what, and you don't want to QA it all again. But like there's a version of Los Santos that's like kind of different, it seems like. And I'm like, this is neat. So I don't want to Chowderhead cough talking I don't want you to get mad at me, but I have nothing really to say about it. I don't want to spoil GTA 5 for anyone. I'm 60 missions into the main campaign and I'm like, enough already, dude. Like, let's wrap this thing. I do feel like that. I'm like, I don't mind there being all of the minutia in the world and all the things, optional things. I think that's super cool. Just endless amounts of it. But like with the story, it's like, all right, guys, let's wrap it up. So hopefully I'll be done because I'm pretty over it at this point. It's a great game, but I'm like, enough.
GTA is like that.
Yeah.
Like in my experience, like GTA 4 was, I love GTA 4, but GTA 4 was like that as well, where I think that game has around, it's 60 to 70 missions, I think, or something 68 or something. It might be around that actually. And by that point, you're kind of like, all right, I've done the same thing over and over again at this point. It's just like, let's get to a narrative conclusion. It's all very good. But Grand Theft Auto Online is so weird because like I remember like when I first played it had none of that. It was just like, here's a multiplayer mode. I think they had like some light sim elements where like I think I remember the thing that I talk about all the time is like I remember I tried to steal somebody's car and I couldn't because they had car insurance.
Right.
Or something. And I remember being like, well, I don't know what. I can't steal cars in Grand Theft Auto. What is this? And I just kind of like, I never stepped back into it. And I think the only time I did step back into it, I ran into what you're experiencing now with the endless tutorialization of just like, no, I know how to do all of this. And now I've got to sit through this again, but then get disconnected sometimes because that was happening to me at that time. And then I would have to redo it. I'm like, I'm good. But it sounds interesting. I mean, it's GTA Online has long been this weird kind of thing in the periphery too for me, where I'm just like, I am curious about whatever the hell's going on over there. But
one thing I want to say, Chris, is I couldn't help it. I don't know if this is a thing in the online. Well, we know that there are all the role playing servers for Grand Theft Auto, but
right
as I play the game, the campaign, I'm like, what about a realism mode? Like something like a Fallout mode, like in Fallout where you have to sleep, and you have to eat, you have to drink, and I'm like, what about a mode where you have to drive the speed? Well, you don't have to do anything, but like when you're driving like a maniac, you immediately attract crazy police attention. Like you have to stay within the lines, you have to drive normal speeds, you have to act in a certain way. I'm like, would people be into that? And like, could you even play the game like that? Because it would be cool in how much it would break open the actual missions where things get nuts. But like while you're doing things, it also attracts an enormous amount of attention from everyone else. So like you're never left alone, kind of.
Yeah.
I don't know. I was thinking about like how I am curious, and it's what I assume they're keeping under their hat for now is like all of the ways they've enhanced the game from that perspective, or similar perspectives about living in it and treating it the right way. I've talked before about how my brother-in-law used to make me laugh because he would sometimes play GTA 3 with me, and he would play like where he would stop at the lights and like play and like normal thing. And I'm like, he didn't really know if you should play like that or not. I'm like, yeah, like you don't have to play like you can't really play like that. But what if you did kind of have to play like that?
I mean, I
can't get away from that.
I used to do that myself, like with GTA 4. Like I would drive, I would wait for the lights to go. It was always for like maybe like 5-minute increments,
right,
or whatever, and then you'd like break out of it. But it was, I don't know, it's like a grounding or like an immersion tool, and they're really good for that, man. They're fun to play that way. for at least a little bit.
We'll see what happens. I want to get into Onimusha 1 at some point soon and start doing those in preparation. And then I got to get through the Remedy shit at some point. Those are the two major things that I need to do now for the rest of the summer.
Yeah.
The only complicating factors is that Game Freak comes out. Halo,
right?
That Game Freak game comes out next month, and then we're in September. It's going to be a balancing act. I got to wrap this up soon. I must admit I've been dicking around a lot. And not really dicking around, but like one does. It's like, oh, I'm going to do all the parachuting shit now for no reason. Oh, I'm going to do all the stock car races. I'm going to go rob a store for no reason, or I'm just going to go see how many stars I can get for how long. Like, it's just the Grand Theft Auto style shit. So it's not that I am playing through the campaign and it's taking that long, but it's like, all right.
Yeah.
Let's wrap. Anyway. All right,
yeah.
Chris, it says here. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead, please.
No, well, I'm playing. Well, on that note, since just to stick with GTA, I'm playing San Andreas still. I'm so bad at this, man. I am getting murked consistently to the point where this is probably taking me so much longer than it should, because the controls are a little unwieldy. I should note I am playing the original version. I'm not playing like the remake, remastered, like whatever that definitive edition trilogy thing. I'm not playing that version of San Andreas. I'm playing the original. Well, I guess the PS4 SKU of the original PS2 game. So there's not a lot of bells and whistles. There's not a lot of like quality of life changes. So it's a bit rough. But I am still playing it. I am still being pulled through it. The story is fun. I like how, and this is technically objectively tedious, and I think on some level maybe I don't like it. But I like the effect that it's having, where in this game in particular, and I can't really remember if it was like this in 4 or, because it's been a minute since I played 4, but in San Andreas, you can't really save unless you go back to CJ's house. Like, you have to go to, and not only do you have to go to CJ's house, you have to go all the way back to the kitchen. You got to go to the furthest point in the house to save your game, to save your progress. And I've been doing that after every mission because I'm afraid that I'm going to die and lose all of my weapons and stuff. And I just don't want to, I don't want to go recollect all that shit. So I've been going back to the house every 20 minutes or so. And it's funny because it is annoying and it is tedious. But this neighborhood has become so familiar to me. And I kind of like it. Like there's like these NPCs outside. There's specifically like there's like NPCs outside on Grove Street where they're all in green and they're your guys, right? They're basically like your neighborhood guys. And I feel like distinctly attached to them because I always see them as I'm pulling into my garage or as I'm running into the street or as I'm running into the house and coming out. They're there in the morning, they're there at night. And I accidentally like ran over some of them and I felt like really bad about it in a way that I don't feel about like any of the NPCs. So it's like there's an interesting, it's definitely a product of the time. It's definitely, more tedious. It's more annoying to save that way. But if I didn't save that way, I would have no real relationship with Grove Street and that house. And I think this is one of the interesting things about video games to me. It's just like the way that like little design decisions influence like emotional connections to like the things that you're experiencing. I love that shit. So like clocking that and like processing that is like a fun little thing. But yeah, I'm still enjoying my time with it. I like the vibe of San Andreas quite a lot. And I guess this is obvious, but it wasn't that obvious to me. Like back in the day, because I only had like really brief interactions with it, I didn't realize that San Andreas was basically the entire southwest of the United States.
Yeah, it's like a majorly compacted thing.
Yeah, I did not realize that. Like, I thought it was Los Angeles. Like, I really did assume that it was just like, oh, it's I don't know what I assumed. I just kind of assumed that was it because that's what, I guess Grand Theft Auto 4 tries to do this a little bit. Like there's a place that's like theoretically Connecticut. Theoretically, and there's a place that's theoretically New Jersey. But like Connecticut and New Jersey feel like New York anyway. Like there's really not that much of a distinct difference. The Southwest is a lot more distinct, I think. You know, like even San Diego and Los Angeles are distinct from one another. Los Angeles and San Francisco are distinct from one another. Nevada is like, and you know, Las Vegas is distinct from Los Angeles in a way that Connecticut and New Jersey and New York aren't really. Like New York is distinct, but like Connecticut and New Jersey feel like they feel like they belong attached in some way. And so when I was kind of exploring and I hit this point where I'm like, oh, this isn't Los Angeles anymore. It kind of blew my mind a little bit. It reminded me of how I felt when I played Red Dead or Red Dead 2, and I realized like how big that map was supposed to be in relative to the continental United States. And I was like, this is actually really impressive that they did this on the PS2. Like, this is kind of amazing. I'm kind of blown away by just the sheer amount. Like, I didn't realize the Golden Gate Bridge was in this game. I didn't realize Las Vegas was in this game. I had no idea. And I didn't realize how much of, like, just how diverse it is, I guess.
Yeah, because San Andreas is the state of California in the Grand Theft Auto world, right? And Los Santos is Los Angeles.
Yeah. Yeah, so, like, I don't know. It's obvious, I guess, to most people, but I never really interacted with San Andreas deeply in any real way. I didn't own it. I played it at friends' houses, and every time we would play, we would start out at CJ's house. So we would just fuck around in Grove Street or like in that area, and then I would like hand the controller off, and then we'd do something else.
Right.
So yeah, I'm surprised by just how broad this game is and how vast it is, despite it being still ultimately a PS2 game, and it is still very truncated. Obviously, it's mega truncated, hilariously so, if you look at it objectively, but it does a good job of like feeling like it's supposed to feel. Like it these places do feel, although they are like minutes apart from one another, they do feel like the San Francisco portion of the game feels distinctly not like Los Angeles or like where you start off, and it feels distinctly not like the Nevada desert and these like weird places. It's really cool.
Yeah, that is neat. Certain games are able to do, like Death Stranding, I think does a really nice job of that too, of scope within, like ridiculous scope within the confines of a game that's playable.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah. I agree. Yeah, it's so I've been enjoying my time with it. It's really just like the unwieldy controls that are kind of fucking with me. Like it's really aiming and like targeting is so janky because like you hold R1 to aim, but your aim locks in depending on like what direction CJ's facing. So if you're looking at somebody, if you're looking at like a target over there, but you're running this way and you hit aim, then he goes like he locks that way, and it's like, oh my god, it's quite tricky. You could tell that they hadn't quite figured out third person shooting quite yet. And arguably, some people would argue that Rockstar never quite has.
No, they still haven't really figured it out, I would say. Maybe they have now. We'll find out soon.
We'll find out. But I'm still liking San Andreas. It's just I'm moving through it so much slower than I thought I would because I'm just so shit at it. But outside of that, I've been playing a lot of things, honestly. Like I've been dicking around with my 360 quite a bit. I was noodling around with the original Tobey Maguire Spider-Man game. I've been noodling around with Mercenaries 2 still. It's a fun sandbox. But the main thing that I wanted to talk about this week, I'm fucking around with this game, and I think Dustin mentioned this on an episode a while back, is this Steam game, this Librarian Tidy Up the Arcane Library. And this is a game where you're in like a mage's library, basically. It's like a wizard's library or whatever, and it's completely fucking ransacked. All the books are on the ground, and your goal is to just put everything in the right place and stock the shelves correctly. And there's like, I think like something like 3,000 books or something. There's like 400 rows. And I played it it was like $5, and I was like, this seems like a dumb game. Like, whatever. I'll play this while I'm on Discord with some people. And I ended up finishing it. I played the entire thing. It's there is something about it that is kind of cute and interesting and that I kind of like. You get these abilities over time that kind of make it a little bit easier. So like you can feel your progress exponentially speeding up as you're going through it. The first row is the most tedious and the most hardest. because you're looking for like, oh, I want to fill up the philosophy section. So you're looking for like the philosophy and ethics of transforming, people or whatever the fuck. And you're stocking those shelves one by one. And then like for every row you complete, you get an upgrade point, or at least early on. Then it becomes like 5 rows gets you an upgrade point, and then like 15. And so you do this, and then like you get different abilities where like if you're holding a book, you can press like 3, and then it'll highlight all the books in that area for a short time, so you know generally where they are, but you still have to dig through. And then there's one that you get later that like automatically sucks up books of the same type, and then you can upgrade that from like 1 to 2 to 3 to 4, and to the point where you get an entire row. And so there's this weird strategy of like you end up like build crafting, where you're like, okay, I'm going to pick one book and I'm going to spam 5. I'm going to spec into 5, and then I'll hit 5, and then I'll suck all those up, and then I'll spam 2 so that I can see where I got to go. And then there's like different magic items that you find that give you access to like sprint and like all these different things. There's like, oh my God, I can sprint now. It's weird. It's a weird game. I didn't expect
I'm looking at gameplay of it. It looks really cool.
I did not expect to vibe with it as much as I did. But I ended up finishing it by accident because I just got so sucked into it while I was on a call with some friends. And it's a good time. It's a Steam game, obviously. Can't really play it on PlayStation as far as I'm aware. It feels
like
I
just looked. It's not on console. It looks like it's very mouse dependent. Maybe it's
there's a way you could do it. It's not precise. You're not like shooting. Although there is like an aim down sights in it, which is like, what the fuck is why? Like what am I zooming into with this?
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah, it does look very fun. And is it the description on Steam makes it sound like Speed is the game? Is that the way it is? Like you're trying to do it quickly?
Yeah, I mean there's time. I gotta be real. I don't know. There's a time that they keep track of. So like I played for like 4.5 hours and I finished it. But like there's presumably, but once I finished it, I was like, I bet I could speed run this. You know what I mean? Because like, oh, I know you become intimately familiar with like, this is the law section, or like, oh, this is philosophy,
right?
Or like, oh, this is ethics, and like, oh, this is medicine. And so as you're moving, you kind of like you finish the game and you're like, I could probably do this way quicker. And then I would imagine that there's part of it that's like that, and I think the reward is different every time. Like so for me, I found one key. There's 4 chests kind of like ominously, or maybe not ominously, but they're just kind of like sitting in the lobby. And I only found one key to one chest, and that gave me access to sprint so that I could now run through the library, which is like made things a lot quicker. I would imagine that there's another one for like jump that I didn't find. I don't know if that's true, but like there's 4 other abilities. So like I assume that there's something to that. Maybe a time stop. Maybe. I really don't know. I'm hypothesizing. But yeah, so you could theoretically like figure out a way where it's just like, all right, I know where everything goes. I know where the keys are. I'm going to hunt down the keys, unlock these abilities, then like kind of hunt down the sections that I know. And then like, I can imagine that there's like a time crunch thing to it. Or I think there's like maybe a mode where like you have a certain amount of time. I didn't play that way. I was just like, I want to vibe out. I don't really want to.
Yeah, it's cool.
Stress myself out too much.
Well, I was wondering also if like, are the books they're not randomly generated. Are they randomly placed so that it's different every time?
That is a good question. I don't quite. I only ran through once, so like I only had one seed, as it were.
Right.
So like
right. That's what I'm wondering.
Know,
yeah, you're right. Right.
Yeah, I don't know. Like I'm curious to maybe jump back in and see if like maybe the organization changes. Like maybe if philosophy is now on the bottom floor or something like that, or maybe the map changes, or maybe the density of books in the piles that they are stay the same, but like where they are changes. Like I genuinely don't know where the keys are. Maybe that changes. I really don't know. But it was weirdly engaging. I don't know. I won. So I finished it in 4 hours. And there's a door that that unlocks when you get every book. And it opens up into a room, and I assume you get different rewards based on completion rates or like timing or like how many magical abilities you unlocked. I got a nice margarita pizza that looked delicious, I have to say. For like an indie game like this, where everything looks like stylized, I was like, that looks bomb as fuck. I'm hungry now.
Yeah, me too.
But it's a good game. It's hungry. Like it's weirdly solid. Not for everybody, for sure. Like I was definitely in a weird mood when I picked this up because I was like, I just don't want to play anything that's. I kind of just want to relax. I don't want to play anything that's like. I don't want to kill anything. I don't want to fight anything. I just kind of want to vibe, and it's pretty good. It takes a special kind of probably mental disorder to really get into this. It's probably why it works for me, but check it out if you're curious about it. I think this would click with a lot more people than more people would expect. Because it is so weird. But
cool. Yeah, it looks
really,
fun. It looks right up my alley, actually. We'll see if it comes to PlayStation. That would be pretty cool.
Yeah.
Well, that's it then for what we're playing.
Yeah.
And that leaves us with our 6 questions, comments, concerns, thoughts, and ideas to end the show, Chris, as we always do, with inquiries from the audience. Remember, you can submit your inquiries on Patreon, patreon.com/lastdaymedia, where you get early ad-free access and a bunch of other great perks for supporting us there we could not do without you, and we appreciate your support. We begin with Electric MD, who says, "Gentlemen, I'm watching, reading, and listening to the discourse surrounding the console games industry these days, and it feels incredibly apocalyptic. As someone who's been gaming since the Atari 2600, I've seen a thing or two. Maybe I'm just old and hopelessly behind, but my PS3 through PS5 backlog is so large that I don't even have time to panic. I can't help wondering if the current doom and gloom is being overstated. Every price increase, service change, and rumor seems to be met with declarations that Sony is finished. PS Plus is doomed, or people are canceling subscriptions and swearing off GTA 6. So, Colin, is the industry really at an inflection point, or is this just another cycle of online outrage that will be forgotten 6 months from now? Are gamers actually reaching a breaking point, or are the loudest voices on social media making things seem worse than they are? Is the sky really falling, or have we simply become conditioned to expect the worst?" I think it's everything. I think the answer is yes.
Yeah, that's how
we talk about this sometimes, and it feels dire sometimes, and I think it is magnified by social media and the loud voices. I had this idea, actually. I had expressed this to Micah. I'm not really I use ChatGPT, and I've said before, it helps me with gardening and a few other things where I just ask it basic questions and it answers them for me like a search engine. I'm not really sophisticated enough, and I really have to learn how to use AI much more deeply, where I was like, what would be an interesting exercise, Chris, would be to have Claude or some sophisticated model be like, take all of these tweets from Patreon, or from PlayStation rather. Take all these Instagram posts from PlayStation. Even take all of these YouTube videos from PlayStation. Analyze the usernames of the different people and see how many duplicates there are. And try to net out who's saying what and how this measures towards PlayStation's overall user base and stuff like that. And the numbers probably won't be very kind. This is what I was saying to Jaffe on Sacred Streaming was, that's why I believe, and I think you're in agreement with me, that the best way to affect change is actually this guerrilla war, this guerrilla style war that people are playing on social media, where you almost have to make it impossible for them to market anything because the numbers themselves won't really change anything. And that creates a loud and boisterous environment where people realize, I think that's the only way you can affect meaningful change. Because we brought up the example with Black Ops could have very well attracted more PS Plus, lapsed PS Plus subscribers to go back than people left over the game thing, right? It's the numbers game is rough. And I was thinking recently too about, wouldn't you be curious to know, Chris, what were their expectations at this point in the fight at Sony, and how are they doing? Because they really don't seem like they seem nonplussed in a way, and I don't know if that's really true or not, or if that's just kind of their demeanor publicly. So I guess, Electric MD, to your point, it's do I feel like we're at an inflection point? In some way, I feel like we're always at a different inflection point. The gaming industry has always been a series of paths and forks in the road.
Yeah.
The one thing I want to say is that I feel like people are losing sight of, I just think that people think that things are so calamitous, generally speaking, with the gaming, and I want to reiterate to people, it's not. If you just judge it based on financial health of an overall sector, gaming is a permanent thing now. It's never going away. And the idea that it can crash like it did in the early 80s and all the rest, it's no, it's different now. You have to understand more about 1983, when it felt like this was a fad. I actually brought up some numbers, which I thought was interesting. In 1980, the gaming industry, the global gaming industry, these are unadjusted numbers, by the way. The global gaming industry in 1980 made $12.2 billion. Most of that's from arcade, right? And this is true 81, 38 billion. So it goes from 12 to 38. And then 82, 42, 83, 37, 84, 30, 85, 24, 86, 22, 87, 20. In other words, it was more than halved by the time it was done. And that was when Nintendo was around. In fact, this is interesting. Console gaming in 1983, so Atari mostly, but also in television and a few others, $3.2 billion of the $37 billion was from console gaming, which is amazing when you think about that, right? That means 90% of the gaming revenue is from arcades. Obviously, things started to flip. 1985, console space, $100 million. Dude, $100 million. Mouse PI for Hire has made almost $100 million at retail, just to put that into perspective. Gaming doesn't recover from a fiscal point of view until 1993 during the SNES and Genesis era. And the reason it took so long was because arcade gaming started declining heavily, and so there was no offset, and then everything became console gaming. Chris, if you look at those numbers now, 190 billion, 183 billion. This is a situation that will become $200 billion and go beyond very quickly. And we have to keep in mind that we simply, unfortunately, just don't have that much centralized power anymore because there are so many people. It's what we were saying about college football and the guy spending $1,000 a year in NBA 2K. And there's just too many of us doing too many things for us to garner too much information about it. But the one thing that is for sure is that gaming is never going to be in danger again.
Yeah.
There will be different winners and different losers. Conduits by which games are played and the style in which they're played will change. But that's it. So are things bad for... We're in the late stage of consoles. You have to understand that and accept it. We're in obviously the end stage of physical media, it seems like. We're in the early stage of the digital ecosystem. We're probably in the middle stage of monetization. So I think all these things line up differently, and they certainly seem calamitous. Some of the best advice you can probably give a person out there is to just not pay attention to all of it. But like, I unfortunately don't have that luxury. Otherwise, we wouldn't have a show. So what do you think?
Yeah. No, I think you said it pretty eloquently. I think we are at an inflection point, but like I mean, dude, I don't know. It really is tricky to parse through a lot of this because it's such an unpredictable. The state that we are in right now doesn't help, right? You know, like it would be this way anyway. In some ways, like we were always tracking towards digital and you know, tracking away from the things that we kind of understood or took for granted. But yeah, I mean, the interest in the next generation is mega low in a way that I don't think is particularly precedented, or at least in my lifetime. Like usually, like for my entire lifetime, the next generation has been generally always pretty excited. You know, it's always been like a big thing that people were looking forward to. I think the closest it ever got to not being that way was PS5. But even that was like not really true. You know, I mean, people were still excited because the PS4 had so much more to go. You know, like the hard disk drive and like all this stuff. Like there were obvious improvements to be made. So I think now we find ourselves in a situation where digital media is kind of becoming the framework. Budgets are exploding. You know, people's purchasing power is really low. Like, I mean, it's a lot of different things, but the idea that it's like it's over is kind of crazy. Like, I don't think it's gonna change. It's gonna transform and it's gonna change. And it's gonna change shape. And like you said, there's gonna be different winners and losers. The thing to me that gives me comfort is that I already know, like, if gaming were to stop today, I would still have no hope of playing everything that I want to play.
Right.
You know, like I really am not wanting for much more than I already have. I'm always happy to accept more. There's a lot of games that I'm looking forward to that I you know, like, you know, Judas is presumably going to exist at some point. GTA 6 is right there. Blood of Dawnwalker, Control. Like, there's like all these things that I'm excited for. But if those things stopped existing tomorrow, I would still be completely hopeless in catching up with all the stuff that not only that I want to play and want to catch up on, but stuff that I don't even know that I want to play yet, that I just missed, that I'm just not aware of. There's such a glut of content. Like, every day that goes by is the best day to play games because more and more is available. We're getting a Bug's Life on the from the PS1 on PS5. Like, that's insane. Like, it's a ridiculous amount of backwards compatibility that, like, I had no reason to expect even. And we're getting it. And so, I don't know. I get the doom and gloom, but I'm also well-fed. So it's kind of hard to parse. It's kind of hard to parse for me.
Yeah, this gets into our next inquiry, actually. You set it up perfectly.
Oh, cool.
Isaiah Summers wrote in and said, howdy. With the PS6 on the horizon and the type of seemingly relatively muted, I'm curious, is anyone planning to skip the launch and wait for a larger game library or a price drop before picking one up? The PS4 is only now starting to lose support about 6 years into the PS5 generation. If history repeats itself, the PS5 could continue receiving support for another 5 to 6 years after the PS6 launches. At this point, I also have a hard time imagining what a PS6 exclusive game would look like that the PS5 couldn't handle. Are you planning to buy the PS6 at launch or wait a few years? I'll be browsing my digital library and listen. I mean, the straight up reality is I'm buying both the console and the handheld at launch. But we have to see how it all plays out. Pricing, the exclusives, like what are the perks? What can the things do? I mean, maybe there are just things about it we don't understand. I think it's going to be a pretty traditional kit though. And so I'll be there day one. I have to be. I mean, on nature of what we do, but also I think I'll just be real as a PlayStation consumer with disposable income. I think I just would have been there day one. Maybe I would have bought just one or the other at that point. But I don't blame people for wanting to sit out from this, and I don't think you're really going to be missing out on very much. That's just my feel. I think it's going to be really cool. I think the handheld's going to be mega exciting, and I'm so amped for the handheld. But
yeah.
I agree with what you're saying, Isaiah. I think cross-gen will be a thing into the mid-2030s, I would assume, at this rate. And especially with PS5 Pro, unless the costs adjust such that they really just discontinue the PS5 at some point and start selling the PS6 because of comparable pricing. But that remains to be seen. I do think, Kristen, we were bringing this up earlier, is that I think a lot of people will wait. And I think that that's wise, but if Newzoo is right and they can really get it between $600 and $800, which seems so ambitious, maybe you stick it out and do it. I don't really know.
Yeah.
What do you think? You think? Well, you're not going to wait, obviously, but do you think?
Yeah.
What about like more casual people in your life? Are they talking about getting it, or are they going to wait?
No way. They're definitely going to wait. Like I, if I were to get it, it would be, the primary reason would be because of the show. Because it would be just beneficial for all of us to be in the ecosystem and understand we have kind of somewhat of a responsibility to relay that information to the audience. But also, I am just a hardware nerd. I like new hardware. I'm probably, realistically, I'm probably going to get the Xbox as well, even though I know I probably won't even need it. But like, I like the feeling. You know what? Honestly, I think the big part of it for me is just like, I don't know how many more of these we're going to get. So I'm kind of savoring, like, anytime I can open up a new box and get that feeling of just like the fresh machine. Because I feel like at some point, and I wouldn't even be surprised if this happens in my lifetime, it's just going to be kind of, I don't know if it'll be cloud or what, or if it'll just be like more software and, you know, it'll be in your TV or something. Like, I do feel like that's going to happen at some point because the cost of building these machines is insane. So I don't know. I think from my read on the situation is that enthusiasts are always going to be interested. Early adopters are always going to be interested, but like most of the people that I know who are just like, and they're gamers, like they play a lot. They're not stoked about a new machine. You know, like they're more than happy with the machines that they have. They're more than happy on PC or with their existing PlayStations. The thing that really is going to separate this generation, or this next generation, I would imagine, isn't really even going to be exclusives. It's probably not even going to be anything particularly serious on that regard. I do think it's going to be the handheld element of it. I do think that is, we're not selling you a machine that does all these things that the PS5 can't do. We're selling you something that can take what the PS5 does and make it incredibly sleek, incredibly portable, and a little bit stronger. Maybe resolve the CPU bottleneck, ideally. because that's really the only thing that's left to improve, in my opinion. Is like frame rates are good, but you got to get that AI you got to get the AI stuff a little bit better. But it's going to be a novelty, or not a novelty. Maybe that's the wrong way to phrase it, but it's going to be more in the use case of the machine rather than a boost in power or like, oh, it's 8K. Like I don't know anybody who gives a shit about 8K. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Didn't they print that on the PS5 boxes too? Like
yeah, and then they
stopped.
stopped.
Like 8K.
And then they stopped.
Yeah, because no one cares.
Because I also think there was like 2 games that were ever 8K, and one of them was like some random indie game. So
yeah,
you're right. Yeah, you're absolutely right. I'm very curious to see how this all goes. That's why the Newzoo report that we talked about earlier was so interesting to me, because that's like, yeah, we're starting to really kind of try to conceptualize this in a real way. And unfortunately, we have all of the modifiers that matter. We like don't know any of the values, you know, like we don't know like what the machine is. We don't know what it costs. We don't know what it can do. We don't know if it has games. We don't know anything about the portable, the interoperability between them. There's so much we don't know.
We assume, and the thing too is like we assume it's going to have exclusives, but like I don't know if we necessarily should. You know, in the broad sense, like I'm sure we'll get like maybe an Astrobot or like an obligatory, you know, Demon Souls remake or something like that. But like, I am kind of the mind where it's just like, well, PS4 is still active. Not that you're going to make a new PS4 game, but like, we know that these generations stick around quite a bit. Why would they really? Like, why would they, like, especially with budgets being the way they are? Like, what is the incentive to making an absurdly expensive game for a new machine when the install base is so low? You already have, like, I don't know. Like, the economics of it is starting to be a little dubious.
I agree. I've talked about in the past about like it almost feels like you're sacrificing games or studios for the necessity of having to do it. Getting back to what I was saying earlier about Resogun, even with Housemarque, like I wonder if they would even do like some sort of limited exclusive that then would be ported backwards.
Backported, yeah.
I don't know. I think they're probably figuring that out, because I think there's got to be a method to the madness. Like if you're going to release a console, you probably should have a few things on it that only are on it. But I think that when you look at PS5, there weren't that many things that were like that. And even things that I think would have really helped PS5 weren't necessary. Like Miles Morales was on PS4 at launch. I remember us being kind of like put off by that, being like, why are you doing this? But like in the reality, it didn't really matter. And then you had games like the Pathless and Demon Souls and a few others that were there that were, Demon Souls was PS5. I think Pathless was on both consoles, if I recall. Maybe it was a PS5 only game. I don't know. We'll see. It's going to be It's going to be dangerous out there.
Yeah.
All right. Next up is Herman Holst's Tanking Reputation, who wrote in and said, hey, fellas, should PlayStation invest in a face, a man, a woman, or perhaps a small team with a relatively simple function of talking to their audience? With most of PlayStation's communication coming through faceless blog posts and the odd scripted chat on popular websites, breaking up absurdly long silences, it's clear they have a communications problem. A PlayStation Studios head in Holst in which nobody trusts when it comes to relaying information. But perhaps a small group of friendly, relatable faces to smooth over some difficult conversations may be a worthy investment. What say you? I think the answer to this is generally yes, but I do think it doesn't come without its own dangers. And I think because Sony is so risk averse that they are probably very aware of what this does. If you have like a Major Nelson, right? That kind of started blowing up in their face. Because it was when things were good, right? Like it was good to have a guy out there like that. And when things were bad, it was really bad to have a guy like that out there, because he couldn't do anything or say anything or get anything done or post anything or whatever without people bothering him, because of the expectation that he was kind of the conduit by which we learn things. So it's a double-edged sword. I think the best move is to just make some of these executives more accessible, which is what Sony has always done. They never really had, like, Kevin Butler was a fake person. Really, everyone that they used were real people that worked there, but also had charisma and took to media training and knew how to present things. And that's always been true. That was true for Xbox. That's true for Nintendo. And so they just need to do that more. But because they do everything live to tape at best, and a lot of it is obviously just stitched together, we only see people like Sid Schumann and that lady that does third party stuff, and the other lady that kind of looks like the lady that does the third party stuff, and like, but we never ever see or hear from these people ever outside of that context, and so they don't come off as anything but hosts.
Right.
I know with the official, I don't even know if they do the official PlayStation broadcast still. I assume they do. That was a fairly well liked show, even though everyone knew it was Nintendo Power-esque and they wouldn't talk shit. You at least got to know these people, and that's cool. But that's why I was laughing so much about Sid Schumann having his byline on both of those letters. It's like so funny, man. Like, just from the perspective of sending someone out to get fucking murdered. But because these guys don't speak, they're really not exposed anyway. And the reality is that let's be clear. This doesn't matter to the quality of the content necessarily, but Sony doesn't have executives that are of the ilk of the old style guys that actually knew how to talk. So Herman Hulst doesn't really have a lot of charisma. We don't know too much about Nishino, but like you know, we've talked about before, Shuhei and Gio and Andrew House and Jack Trenton and on and on and on and on and on. Even Cerny. I mean, Cerny might be the only one of them they have that can communicate. And I was talking about this with Tom from Moore's Law is Dead, where I'm like, you kind of have to keep him in bubble wrap because he's like the only one anyone respects anymore. And so like when you're ready to like say something and you want people to pay attention, you send him out to his fucking podium and he does his thing with about PS6 or whatever, but he's not the guy that should be fielding questions about your brand. In fact, I don't think he even works for Sony. Like I'm fairly sure he is like a contractor. So they need to figure this communications thing out. And people think there's a contradiction in what I say where they're like, Colin, you say it's smart for them to not say anything. And I'm like, it is. I didn't say it was smart for them to not say anything when they do things. They just don't have to say things most of the time. This is the time where you got to say a lot.
Right.
That doesn't mean you just never speak.
It's a time and place thing.
Right. It's like you just don't say so much. Like your competitor, for instance.
It is a bummer because like I remember like even when I was like a 360 guy in that generation and watching E3, I liked seeing Jack Trenton. Like they were likable guys.
They are.
Like to see on stage. Yeah. And so like it is just a bummer that we just don't have that. And the capacity that we do have that is very tightly wrapped. It's very synthetic feeling. Like even when we do see these people who we know are real people, obviously, like the degree to which they're able to be people is very limited. You know, they're there to deliver a talking point or like a PR blip or like, you know, a buzzword or something. Wolverine is visceral. You know, okay.
Yeah.
But like, you know, there's not that opportunity as much. And I think that's something that we lost a lot with E3. And just because there was a necessity to invest in somebody like that because you needed people out there on the stage to be like as charismatic as possible. Because like in a live environment, that shit reads. You can't go up there with like a Mr. Caffeine. I was gonna say
that. Know? Yeah. Otherwise, you fall into that, or you have like the Konami press conference where like all your people just don't know what to do.
Yeah. What was like? This is like 100,000 troops.
Yeah.
Dude, I remember these. It's so funny how like ingrained these E3 conferences are in my brain. Like there's parts of it that I know verbatim, dude. The delivery, like I can replay them in my head in 4K if I wanted. Higher resolution than I even saw them in. I can do it.
The Wii Music one is still one of my favorites.
The Wii Music is iconic.
Yeah.
My favorite one forever is going to be the Kinect demo where they're like, you ever wonder what the bottom of an Avatar shoe looks like? Well, bam, there it is. And it's this ungodly contortion. Just clearly fucks up. It's so good. What a joy.
It was. All the things that went wrong at all these conferences too. It goes to show you why none of these companies want to do shit like that anymore. Like that's the dirty little secret. We say that about discs, but it's really true about everything. It's like none of these guys want to do this shit.
I get
like
it,
they want to do as little as possible, but I don't want them to forget that endemic in gaming is joy and like celebrating the
and culture and figureheads,
right?
And like this is the thing. It's like we don't have that to the same degree anymore. We don't have that Super Bowl like event. where personalities like address. Like they Jack Trenton and these people, they used to be like the coaches. You know what I mean? There's something that we had, and I was like, we kind of don't have that anymore.
Yeah, that's true.
That's a huge bummer.
It's well put. Jeff Buss wrote in and said, "Hello, gentlemen. With all the talk of physical games lately, did either of you ever lend a game to a friend while you were growing up only to never see that game again? On the flip side, did you ever borrow a game from a friend knowing that you were going to steal it? I went over to my neighbor's house one day to see if I could borrow Donkey Kong Country 2, knowing I was never going to give it back again. I'm the asshole. Thank you guys for continuing to plow on for over 8 years." He shouldn't have stopped there at the plow. Have you ever had a game stolen from you, or it's not really? I don't know if it's always stealing. What you did, Jeff, is stealing. But like people that borrow things from you and then never give them back, or have you done that to someone else in the gaming space, Chris?
I don't recall that I've ever done that. I did. I lost a number of Game Boy Advance games from lending them out. I know that for sure, because I think there was a point where we moved or something, and I just wasn't. I don't know. I just didn't care that much about the games that I lent out. I was like, I moved, but like I didn't move that far away. Like I'll get them next time I see you, and then I just never.
Yeah, then you never saw them again. Yeah.
So like I'm sure it's happened to me. Not anything that I remember as like a visceral kind of like, ooh, that stings. I can't believe. Any game that I lent out was something that I was kind of, in some ways, I was like accepting that it was maybe never going to come back to me. Weirdly, the most recent thing that I can think of actually is a real thing where it's like I lent Sweeney Skyrim on Switch, and he has still not given it back to me. And there's no shot that he plays it. But also, like, I also don't care enough about it to ask for it back, because I'm not going to play Skyrim on Switch. I know.
Can you imagine?
So like it is kind of one of those things where it's just like, it happens. But I think I was also so protective of the games that I loved that like I would never lend out like I would have never lent out my copy of like Halo 2 or like Spider-Man 2 or like or Splinter Cell. Like I would have never done that. It was only stuff like Seek and Destroy for the PS2 or like My Street.
Oh man.
Or like these weird games that I had that I didn't understand why I even had, the Music Maker or Music Magics or some shit. Like all these bizarre things. iToy Play. It was like, yeah, you can borrow iToy Play.
Take it. You can take it.
You can take it. But yeah, nothing that I would remember. I'm sure it's happened though.
It's funny, man. Like I had a very tight group of friends growing up that all lent games to each other, and I don't think anyone ever really took each other's shit. There were those kids occasionally, I was always surprised by this, that would like write their names on the cartridges, or like their family name.
Yeah.
I'm like, that's kind of, I don't know. I was never really worried about it. The two things came to mind for me though. Well, one is I borrowed Tetris 2 on Game Boy from some kid in Maine, and I never gave it back to him. I think part of it is because I moved.
Yeah,
we moved to New Hampshire, and for the school year, and I just never saw him again. So I'm sorry about that. That was a great game though. On the shoe on the other foot, in high school, I lent my N64 expansion pack to a friend of mine, John. He had Majora's Mask and didn't realize he might even had something else too, and he didn't realize that you needed the expansion pack for it. So I lent it to him and I never got it back. I ended up getting a different one in the future and like replacing it. It wasn't the end of the world. In fact, the sad thing, and no one realized it at the time, or some of us would be really rich off of it, is, and some people are really rich off of it, no doubt, is they couldn't give this shit away. So replacing the expansion pack in like 2001 wasn't the end of the world. But now it's a lot more valuable, I think, of that. But I have a buddy in Jay in LA. So he was one of the kids. He was one of the guys I've told the story about how I went to 311 Day in 2004 and I met these two random guys that were like the mirror versions of me and Ramon. And we ended up becoming really fast friends with them. And so I'm still friends with them to this day. But when I lived in LA, Jay was like kind of getting into PlayStation a little bit. And I had a ton of PS4 physical games that I got when I was still in the industry. I'd never even played them, but I probably ended up, my PS3 collection's hundreds of physical games, but my PS4 collection's probably about 100, let's say. And I let him go through it and pick out whatever he wanted. And I'm like, you borrow these things. I was like Resident Evil, The Last of Us, Infamous Second Son, like whatever it was. And those games, like I don't really give a shit, to be honest, but I never even asked for them back. So those were the two that come to mind for me. But you would hear every once in a while in school, like people getting games stolen. I was saying that on I think was it on a Q&A or something? The way people used to, the CD cases, like the CD books that were big in the 90s, that people used to leave their games in those sometimes, and I can never believe that, because I was like, dude, like, you know how easy that would be to steal from you?
It's your entire. I mean, I do that to this day, to be honest with you.
Oh, it's so scary to me. That scares the shit out of me. Even with my music, I wouldn't really do that because I was scared of it in the games. No way.
It's so funny. I always felt like really protective over those things, though. Like I know exactly where all of my disc sleeves are right now, because they're too integral not to know. It's like your entire. That's all of everything.
Yeah, that scares the shit out of me, man. Yeah, I never did that, but yeah. So those are the only things that really come to mind. I lent games to friends when they needed them, but I must say I was playing some offbeat shit all the time compared to my friends where no one was asking to borrow fucking Beyond the Beyond, or whatever bullshit I was playing at the time. Can I borrow Azure Dreams? It's like no one was asking for those games. All right. Beer Gen wrote in and said, "Hey CNC and our missing boy D. In light of our discless future, I wanted your opinion on another boneheaded move by a Sony company, Crunchyroll. Earlier this week, they announced that they are moving their store that sells their physical media behind their membership paywall, and it is only available for those who subscribe at higher tiers. Do you think PlayStation could be entertaining similar moves in the future? While being a PlayStation Plus subscriber gives you discounts and access to certain games, what would stop them from in the future giving early access or exclusive access to only paying subscribers? I would have thought this unthinkable 2 weeks ago, but given their commitment to the bit at this point, their greed and bullishness of committing to a digital-only future, I can't be certain they wouldn't try to pull something like this. I know you, Colin, have pontificated at length about the moves Sony could make to win back some goodwill, but on the other hand, could this just be a way for them to turn things around and offer exclusive physical releases via paid subscription? You must be a PS Plus member, and then you are able to buy physical directly from them. Would love to hear your opinion on this, praying for you boys against your will, and hope you have a great day. I'll take your prayers. You don't have to pray against my will. I appreciate your prayers. I read about this, and this is a big thing with Crunchyroll right now, and a lot of consternation. What this suggests to me is that, and I think that I'm not the first person to really observe this, in a more macro way, but there are certain customers that are way more valuable than other customers, and you could argue that some customers aren't very valuable at all. This is a tough way of looking at business. I'm not saying it's right or wrong, right? It's just like
right.
You have this array of customers that all spend a certain amount of money and a certain amount of access. They cost a certain amount of money to have. You have to serve them, right? And you look at it and you try to get to this point in line where you maybe cut it off and you say like, everyone to the left of this line, we don't really need if we do this to everyone on the right side of the line. And I hate to say it, but I think that that's kind of what's happening. Remember, I don't know if it was a coincidence. They're very deliberate, as all companies are, Chris. Sony said a couple of quarters ago, we're no longer really that interested in monthly active users.
Yeah, they did say that.
And it's like, you only say that if you think the number will plateau or go down. If that happens, but you have a certain expectation, a financial expectation, the only other thing you can do is to get more out of those who remain. And I think the Crunchyroll move is just a small example of that. I guess that's a long way of putting it. Is like, they don't give a shit about a certain level of customer.
Right.
I just think that, and it's not, this is Crunchyroll and PlayStation or Sony companies, but it's not just them, it's everyone. And there's something to it. We run a business at Last Stand that's based on micro community. And there are definitely customers that are more valuable than other customers, but we don't draw a line, right? Like, we want all comers because we can serve all comers on YouTube, on podcast services, wherever. And then if people want to pay, they enter this more rarefied situation with ad free and all the rest. So we like to have that spectrum because we attract people in across the line. But I wonder if these guys just kind of look at it a different way. And it seems to me fairly obvious that they do. And it's a shitty thing because it gives you very limited power as an individual, person that purchaser of these goods. So I don't know what they're going to do with PlayStation Plus. By the way, to your kind of question at the end about will they bring back physical releases and do this, that would be fucking crazy if they did that. But I did say that should the physical release thing, should they have just stuck with it, they could have just said like, you have to buy them on PlayStation Direct. And I think people wouldn't have liked it, but I think it would have been a lot better than this.
I agree.
Yeah, what do you think? You have anything you want to say about this one? Have you seen this thing about Crunchyroll?
No, well, I've seen it because of this question. I did a little bit of research into it, but Crunchyroll. I know it might be surprising. Crunchyroll news does not come across my feed diegetically. So I don't know, man. I think what you said is valid. I think it's true. But this is another example of just enshittification. Like it is worse. Like it's just not as good. Like to pay to have access to a storefront so that you can then pay for things that's on the face of it, it's absurd. I understand the reasoning for it, but part of me is like, okay, so you're doing this because, and maybe this analogy or this thought experiment is going to make sense, or maybe it won't. But you're doing this presumably because it's, it yields higher, or it's easier to do. Like if you have a customer that is paying a subscription service to be there, it's more worth your time to serve that customer, right? It is easier on you. My feeling, honestly, is kind of like, I don't know. We don't have easy difficulties in FromSoft games. Like maybe you're just not cut out for this. like maybe you're just not cut out for this if you can't handle the stress of serving a customer that is not paying for a subscription service to walk into your store. Like I don't know. It just seems it seems weird to me that this is kind of happening, and we're just kind of like, all right. I get the impetus, but the impetus is also insane. So I don't know.
Everything's so marginal. Like you can tell that, like, and I mean that literally, like Sony is making moves to extract pennies out of things because like they're not an incredibly healthy company. I don't think they're good. They're in good shape. They make money, but they're not, they should be doing a lot better. And I think they feel that way. And I think that they're now trying to maybe take some shortcuts. I still feel like the best way to win, it's easier said than done, of course, but the best way to win is to just make a superior product. And you would think with Crunchyroll under your control, PlayStation, and a few other things, you would put them together instead of keeping them separate and then extracting all these individual fonts of value out of them. Like start putting your shit together and give your player, God forbid, more value. But again, the monthly active
user, why that won't happen though.
Right. Yeah. I know. It's a shame that people, it's like it's suggested in what you're saying. Like we all know the companies will never or don't want to do what's right for their customer. But I'm always kind of like, why not? And everyone's like, it's like, because it's money. And I'm like, yeah, but the company that treats I think that it might not work at scale. It works with the smaller companies, all the small companies I deal with, right? Or even a small company like Stan. We treat our customers well and give them value and they come back. You make money. I guess I don't quite understand why that wouldn't scale to a multinational corporation. And in fact, do you think it would be the safest way to do business would be to be so reliable? It's why, oh, good.
Well, the only thing that I have to say about that is just like the issue with like a multinational corporation and the scale of money that they're dealing with is just like they want to get what they can while they can get it. You know what I mean? Like it is more of like they already had like the degree of wealth that accumulates is so vast that it's even a fraction of it is good enough to set you up for life in an absurd comfortable position. So your goal really is to kind of like get in and get out, really. Like I want as much as possible for as short term as I can do it. And if the brand is fucked after me, like what the fuck do I care? Like I don't rely on this really. I could quit today and be set.
Right.
I would like more, but I would also like a lot more for like way less time. I don't want to have to put 20 years into this. I want it now. I want it within the next fiscal year. I want it within the next within 5 years, and then I'm out. I don't know. Yeah, and these are the conversations that I hear.
Yeah, you're well said. And it creates a domino effect of bullshit because everyone is doing that.
Right.
Then they think they'll interact with companies that will treat them better, but they don't.
No.
And so on and so forth. And yeah, I guess it's about market capitalism in that it's about ownership, because family run businesses don't really run like that. Small businesses they can't really run like that. The deli around the corner, or like your fucking dry cleaner or whatever. Like, I don't know, man. Maybe it's a little, I don't even want to say it's naive. I've owned 3 successful businesses. I am a businessman. I understand business. I'm a businessman doing business. But there is still a certain naivete and thinking like, well, it should be better because it can be. And I'm like, I understand that. That's fucking crazy. It's just that I could, and that's why I just wouldn't be cut out to be one of these people.
Right.
Because I just don't know that I could run a business like that. To like the like fiduciarily to the nth degree, where nothing else even matters. And I think a lot of things matter. So anyway.
Yeah.
Final inquiry, Chris, comes from Angelo Color, who says, hey boys, first time, long time. Is it time for Sony to give the PlayStation TV another shot? Let me explain. With component pricing continuing to rise and showing no signs of slowing down, maybe a low-cost streaming-only PlayStation device could be a way to bring more people into the PS5 ecosystem at a much lower entry price. The Portal proved there's demand for a dedicated streaming device, so why not take it a step further and make it a streaming box for the TV? I feel like a PS TV 2 bundled with a DualSense for $199 would absolutely murder. Thank you for your donation. I like the idea, but I do caution you that I'm not entirely sure why Portal did well. It's awesome. I love it. The cloud gaming thing wasn't even an option until more recently. And I don't think it owes almost anything to it. In other words, I don't know like what Sony's standalone, like what the demand would be for Sony's standalone cloud service. I think people liked PlayStation Portal because it connected to your PS5.
Yeah.
And so that other option that they opened up, and remember, you have to have PlayStation Plus Premium, I think, for that as well.
I think so, yeah.
So I like where your head's at, Angelo, and there is like some way to finagle this, but the cloud experience is still not very good for a lot of people. Some people it's really good. Jaffe swears by it, but I also am not entirely convinced. I'm not entirely convinced of 2 things. I'm not entirely convinced players really want to play on cloud mostly, and I'm not entirely convinced companies really want you to either. And I know I've made that point in the past. I'm like, I don't know that they really want you to do this. There's this idea that like they want to basically make hardware so onerously expensive that you have to kind of subscribe to them. And I'm like, I don't know about that. I don't know why if you're Sony, you would want to not offload the hardware and all that comes along with it so you never have to worry about it again. You want to serve the power and the water and all the rest for your PlayStation 5 farm? Or do you want to just sell the PlayStation 5 at cost?
Right.
And then let the fucking schmuck out there like me or you power it ourselves. That's the kind of thing I don't think people really think. And I'm not saying Angelo is doing this. I'm just saying I don't think people really think all of it through. Where I'm like, I don't know about this. Like, I don't know if cloud is necessarily the future you think, because it puts so much of the cost, the onus of cost on the manufacturers. And I don't think they want that. Part of console gaming is putting that on everyone else. You know?
Yeah.
But if you buy a game from them, that's awesome. But then they're streaming it every time you play it.
Yeah, you theoretically. Well, I guess the subscription, the fact that it is a subscription service is meant to
offset that. Of course, you're right. You're right.
Yeah, but still, like I'm in broad agreement. I don't. Here's the thing: the PST. So in this pitch, the PSTV 2 is its own little bespoke kind of dongle or something.
Yeah, like a deck of cards, like the original PS Plus or the PS TV was, I assume, that you would then use as a conduit. Maybe you plug an Ethernet cable into it, and then I think you could plug Ethernet in the PlayStation TV, and then you go from there. It seems like an unnecessary step, really, because like you don't need that at this point.
It seems unnecessary. It seems like a lot of like unnecessary R&D to build this thing. I mean, it wouldn't be complicated necessarily, but it would be more time than it would be worth, and more manufacturing than it would be worth, certainly. I just think they really like everything's in a very precarious place that I don't think anybody can really afford to manufacture shit that isn't like really ironclad, or if not ironclad, at least a little bit more, not niche, than like a cloud streaming dongle. I think it is more likely that you could just do this through a PlayStation app. You know what I mean? On a TV storefront or something like that. Like that would be more likely to me than just investing in building a little dongle. I mean, that makes sense to me. Like if you could just like if you download the PlayStation app or download PS Plus on a TV, because I think they do that with Xbox. I think. But I also think Sony probably looks at Xbox and be like, whatever they're doing, we should do the opposite.
Yeah.
You know, they're kind of a great example of like, they're just like, whatever they're doing is not working. So like, if they do something, let's like just go ahead and not for a broad array of different things, you know.
Optionality
I don't know if
is
that's
good.
necessarily how they feel, but yeah.
Well, I was gonna say, Chris, I think having the option's cool, but like it PlayStation TV was actually a really interesting device. I remember being intrigued by it. I had one. I never really messed too deeply with it, but I was like, it's an interesting idea.
Yeah.
It's just,
I think I had one too.
It's like it was they didn't really promote it. For people that don't know, PlayStation TV was basically a Vita that you plugged into your TV. And it gave you all sorts of interesting functionality, and it was this really cheap thing and it was super small. But they almost treated it like it never existed, and I'm not really entirely sure what they were even trying to do with it, because they didn't market it as a Vita, but it was. That was weird. So would it be time again for that? No, I'm still on the fence of cloud gaming, not so much for the fidelity anymore, but just whether it makes any economic sense. And I'll be interested to see how it plays out over time. I think people want dedicated hardware, personally. Not even nice hardware, just local hardware. All right. Chris, let's get the hell out of here. It's time to go.
Let's go.
Good to be here with you today. What's on your agenda for the rest of the day?
I don't quite know. I didn't plan out anything today. I think today's going to be a nothing day, which is nice. I can relax. I'll probably just play video games, honestly. Today's like nothing. I'm free.
Cool. That sounds awesome. That sounds perfect.
Thank God.
It's 94 degrees out. It's fucking have you been affected by the Canada wildfire stuff where like the sky's all fucked up?
Not here.
Yeah, here it's like really, dude, the sun is like orange, like a perfect circle, orange circle. It's really interesting. It's really creepy.
That's so funny.
Like an omen.
There's so many crazy fires in Canada. It's actually like the last time I went to Canada, I went to like I think Edmonton, and it was like there was so ash just everywhere, and it was just like you could feel it. And when you breathe in, you get that like almost like smoking feeling, and you're like, God damn, this is Canada. It's very odd.
Yeah, they have a lot of woods up there, so things are always burning, I think.
But no, I mean, everything's clear blue here, and absurdly hot. It's 91.
Ugh, so. Yeah, it's gross. It's better 91 there though. Yeah, so I'm gonna, I don't know, I have some things to do, and then I'm gonna work out and go in the pool probably. But tomorrow, from when we're recording, so the day this publishes is Micah's birthday. So we're gonna go do our yearly tradition of staying at the nice hotel and getting dinner and suiting up and doing all that. So we'll be gone. And then just a weekend of hanging out and vegging out, I guess. And then I'll be back for Sacred Streaming on Monday. So yeah, it was good to see you, Chris. And thank you for taking the time to be here with me today. I don't know when Dustin will be back, for everyone that's been asking, but whenever he wants, it doesn't really matter.
Yeah.
Guess that's kind of it. Yeah. We'll see you next time for more. Thank you for being here. Patreon.com/LastStandMedia for early ad-free access and laststandmedia.store for merch. Till next time. Goodbye.
Take care, guys.
Sacred Symbols, a PlayStation podcast, is a product and trademark of Last Stand Media and Collins Last Stand LLC, and is proudly recorded in the USA. The show is conceived by, is written by, and is directed by me, Colin Moriarty. My co-hosts are Chris Raygun Maldonado and Dustin Furman. The show is produced by executive producer Dustin Furman. All of Last Stand's theme music is by my best friend, Ramon Narvaez. As you know, all of Last Stand's shows, including Sacred Symbols, are fan-funded on Patreon at patreon.com/laststandmedia. The following names are at the producer level on Patreon, our highest tier, and we're grateful for your thoughtful and kind contributions to our independent endeavor. Thank you.